Velina mai kako. Welcome to Keep It Aloha, a podcast that keeps aloha by reminding us that Hawaiian culture isn't a costume, a caption, or a commodity. It's a kuleana. I'm your host Kamaka, and our guest today is one of the most respected cultural practitioners in Hawaii. But before we introduce her, I got to remind you about this week's giveaway. If you didn't know already, here on the Keep It Aloha podcast, we give away $500 or more in prizes every single week, all of 2026. To find the giveaway details, all you have to do is head to our Instagram and find the post on our profile. The full details will be in the description. I'll be pulling the winners on Wednesday, August 19th, so make sure you get your entries in. For an extra 20 entries, email nicole@keepitaloha.com the secret word/phrase from today's episode. Good luck and enjoy this episode. All right, let's introduce our guest.
After 175 years, some people still think we're just a ranch.
And we just farm all day.
What they don't realize is we wear many hats. And that's just how we roll.
You just might see some old friends.
Or make some new ones.
So come hang with us
Drive on out to the country.
and get that epic snap.
No matter what you're looking for, come discover where legends are made.
Our guest today is a cultural leader from the island of Oʻahu. She is a Kumu Hula, Hawaiian language and cultural practitioner, filmmaker, composer, and community leader who has dedicated her life to preserving and perpetuating the ʻike values and traditions of our lāhui. Many know her from the award-winning PBS documentary Kumu Hina, which shared her story with audiences around the world and went on to win the GLAAD Media Award for Outstanding Documentary, the Independent Lens Audience Award, and the Frameline Documentary Jury Award. She also co-directed, produced, and narrated the Oscar-shortlisted animated short Kapaemahu, bringing the moʻolelo of Waikīkī's legendary māhū healers to an international stage. Along the way, she has been recognized as a White House Champion of Change, received the National Education Association's Human and Civil Rights Award, was named Native Hawaiian Educator of the Year, and was honored by the USA Today as one of the Women of the Century for Hawaii. She is also the composer of Haʻaheo E Kuʻu Hawaiʻi, the powerful anthem that became connected to the movement to protect Mauna Kea and later earned Hawaiian Song of the Year at the Nā Hōkū Hanohano Awards. But beyond all the awards and accomplishments, she is someone who has spent her life reminding our people that Hawaiian culture is not something of the past. It is something we live, protect, and practice, and pass on. I am so stoked to talk stories with her today. She is Hinaleimoana Wong Kalu, better known as Kumu Hina. Aloha, Kumu Hina. Welcome to the Keep It Aloha podcast. How you doing?
Aloha, mai kai inoa o mahalo.
Oh, mahalo ya oi. I'm so stoked to finally have you here. I told you the other day, and just to put this on record, I've been, just because you're running for Oʻahu this year, I've been telling everybody running for elections, like, no, I'm not doing anything. I didn't actually know you were running because I reached out a while ago, so I think you just responded to the email recently, and then we're here now. But you are the exception because you were at the top of my list for, I gotta say, probably 2 to 3 years. So mahalo so much for being here.
Mahalo. And I must formally apologize to you. I am so sorry that it is just taken beyond the amount of time it should take. But we're here.
Yes.
And, listening to what you said about me in the introduction, I feel really like under the par because you said all these great things about me, and look, here I am. This is Hinaleimoana in pigtails.
You're just a regular person. It's like those profiles, like celebrities. They're just like us.
You know what? I am just like anybody else.
Yeah. And we're going to get to know that because we have about 2 hours. We'll see how long we go today. Yeah. But I would love to just get to know your whole life story. I know a lot of us, we see you on social media, the highlights, the intimidating looks, the powerful mana that you share. And I got to share this story actually before we get into that. It was at the Kualoa event. Was it earlier this year or last year? It was the...
Is that the challenge?
Anniversary. Was it the anniversary?
Oh, yeah.
I did the pule over there.
Right. Okay.
But you and your crew, your hale, I don't know if that's if they're considered part of your hale. You guys did it like in Oli. They had to blow the poo, and you did some sort of like ritual. But one of the guys, they couldn't do the poo. They were like, he kept trying. Do you remember this? Yeah.
That would have been my alakai puluke.
Yeah. So this is an awesome story. That was just like that. This explains you to the fullest. Where we were doing it, did the oli, and they're trying to do the poo, and you were just standing there in the front, and he couldn't do it. And I felt bad for him because I went to Nā Hōkū Hanohano Awards, and we didn't have bells, right? We had poo. And every once in a while, there's somebody who couldn't do the poo because it's a hard thing to do. And if you don't do it all the time, and if you got like the bigger one, the smaller one's easy, but the bigger one is hard. So that's just some context. So he was doing it, he couldn't do it. Kumu Hina just walks over to him, grabs it, like so perfectly, just gives it back to him, continues on the ceremony. It was the most baller thing I've ever seen. So I don't know if you, I mean, I'm sure you remember that, but we love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it was just one of those moments that were just like, it wasn't embarrassing. It wasn't like something you laugh at. It was just like something that, I don't know, you saved the day. Like we didn't even think about the guy messing up after. All we were thinking about was like, Kumu Hina is so cool. Like that's all it was. But anyways, that's just wanted to share that story. All right, let's get to know you. Let's start at the beginning. Waikīkī no Himai. Where are you from? Where are you grad? And what was it like right now?
I am born on this island of Oʻahu in Honolulu, known better to some as Kona or Ko. You know, it's poetic name, of which is my favorite flower. It's one of my favorite. Have you ever worn a leipua ko?
No, I didn't even know that.
Oh my gosh, it's like air conditioning. You should wear it when you go out in the sun. You should wear it when you're like in the hot, humid weather. It's great.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And so, I call Pu'unui in Nu'uanu Valley my home. And yeah, I am a child of the 70s. So that makes me a 1990 graduate of Kamehameha schools. Before I got up the hill to Kapalama, I was at my school. So, I give a shout out to my elementary because I really enjoyed my growing up years in that area. I was a child who rode bicycle. I had a mongoose.
Oh, yeah,
bike,
classic mongoose.
The classic mongoose bike. And I rode it everywhere. I rode it to Waikīkī, ride it down by Ke'ehi Lagoon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, getting some miles on that.
I went far. I rode it up to Aleva, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. And we were talking on the phone because I was telling you about my collectible hobby and like the Keep It Aloha events. And you said that you were into comic books, right?
I was so into comic books. And I wasn't a Marvel fan until later on in my life. Marvel comics, like, how do I say it? It would be the Fantastic Four. It would be Captain America. No, Captain America is DC.
No, Marvel.
It is Marvel.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Now that we're 54, things just sort of become a blur.
Yeah. Well, everything just like
everything
is the
just
same.
sort of
especially with all the
melds.
superhero movies,
Right.
they're all just connected.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Marvel, I wasn't an immediate fan. I was the biggest Wonder Woman fan. So DC Comics, I read a lot of them. And my dad would always ask me, what the heck do you get out of that? Wasting damn money. You don't know how to save your money. All you do, I give you money and you go buy comic books. But he didn't realize that that's how I got interested in reading. And the picture along with it helped me to decipher what words meant. So I would read words like incorrigible, insufferable, despotic, and when you're a little kid reading these words, sometimes you don't know what it means, but you're looking at the pictures and you go, oh, okay, I got it. So yeah, I was a Wonder Woman comic book fan. I was also an Archie's comic book fan as well. So yeah, those were great days. I spent a lot of money on collecting comic books.
Well, we spend a lot of money on Pokemon cards these days, so I feel you on that. So what else were you into? Were you always into like the the cultural thing? I mean, because you ended up going to Kapaemahu. And what was like the dynamic of your household? Were you brought up, doing hula, oli, song?
Absolutely not.
Oh, really?
Absolutely not. My life is a rather complex life. My parents were divorced right before I hit second grade, I believe. And I stayed with my mom after the divorce, just for a brief period. And then I lived full time with my dad and my popo, my Chinese grandmother. I would go back and forth between dad's house, which was essentially growing up under my, my Chinese grandmother. My popo and my gunggong, I call them. My gunggong passed when I was, I believe, 5 years old. But it was popo's house. And then if I wasn't with mom, I was with her parents, my grandmother and grandfather, who were both Hawaiian. My grandma was Hawaiian English and my grandfather's Hawaiian Portuguese. So growing up in their house, I was exposed to many things that my grandmother would recount was about being Hawaiian. She would tell me whatever words that she could. She was the one I credit for lighting the pilot light underneath me to be staunch and be fastidious about things. She would say, no, Hawaiian way is not like that. She would tell about how people would come over. She and my grandfather took my mom and her siblings to the continent, and my grandfather was in the service, the U.S. Army, and so they followed him on his career. They went to places like Dover, Delaware, Biloxi, Mississippi, Great Falls, Montana. And so my grandmother's experiences in all of these places made her very different. She was very jaded when she came home because of how she was treated as someone who was not white. And the colorism there, that was during the time of segregation when they lived on the continent. And so my grandmother, the reason why her treatment of my mom and her siblings was so important is because that made my mom the way she was and rather still is. My mom, she didn't have that island experience growing up. So from my mom, it wasn't going to come from her. My Hawaiian grounding and rooting came from my grandmother. So, yeah, what can I say? It's my grandparents on the Hawaiian side could only give me the bits and pieces that they were allowed to learn, because they are that generation that if they weren't beaten for speaking Hawaiian, they were severely prevented from learning Hawaiian, because to be Hawaiian was bad. And I grew up underneath that influence. My grandmother, after growing up like that and then moving to America and coming home, she did not like foreigners. Our term, haole. She did not like haole people because of all the poor treatment and the disrespect. So we would go around here, and if we were eating at a restaurant or if we were at a store, it didn't matter where we were or what we were doing. If there were what she perceived as haole, which although haole means foreigner in general, haole to most Kanaka of the time translates into white person, and usually American white person, but any general white person. And so my grandmother would say, okay, if I tell you to get up and leave this table, I don't want you to say a thing. You just get up and go with me. Do you understand me? And it's because we got to the restaurant first. We sat down. We waited for somebody to come wait on us. The Haole family that walked in came in after us, got seated before us, got their water, got their menus before we got it, and their order went in before we did. And of course, my understanding of my Chinese peeps, especially because we used to go to a Chinese restaurant. Well, actually, whatever restaurant we were at, but yeah, when the food came, she said, "Get up. We're not paying for this. We don't have to put up with this kind of treatment in our home." And so we left. And I would be like, "Grandma, why are we doing this?" My grandmother was, she grew up a tomboy, as she always said. So she was not afraid of confrontation and telling somebody straight. So sometimes, you know, that mean look or that stern look that you said in the opening, on top of the fact that I have RBF, my RBF is natural, okay? There's no effort that goes into it. But on top of that, I am most like my grandmother, Mona Kanani o Kalani Ke Aloha, when it comes to a stern look.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. My mom says I'm her spitting image.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. That's cool. So she obviously played a big part of your Hawaiian grounding, as you said. Mm-hmm. And then what part did Kamehameha play in the rest of it?
Well, before I answer your Kamehameha question, I would say that the flip side, when I was on my dad's side of the family, my popo spoke Cantonese fluently. Mm. And there were times throughout the year that we observed Chinese customs and rituals. Baisan, Tung Meng, or other people would pronounce it Ting Ming, the grave sweeping time. And, you know, I grew up in the middle of cultures. On my Hawaiian side, I was always considered the pake, the Chinese one. On my Chinese side, I was always considered kanakoi, like the Hawaiian one. So I was never really one or the other. But because my Chinese side, my popo could speak Chinese, I was much more attuned, you know, going to places like Chinatown, the sights, the smells, the sounds, how people think. It was a very grounding influence that comes into play later. But now, when I finally leave Ma'e after 6th grade and I go up to Kapalama, Kamehameha campus, I actually didn't want to go to Kamehameha. I wanted to go to Kawananakoa with my friends. Oh. And my father wanted me to go to St. Louis because he's a St. Louis man.
Crusaders.
Crusaders. And my mother wanted me to go to Punahou or Iolani. I didn't want to go to either. And I believe it was my grandparents, their voice said, "Send Colin to Kamehameha, try out." And that's how Colin Gwaikong Wong got to Kamehameha.
It's funny you mentioned being between two cultures and like at one side you were Pake, one side you were Hawaiian, because that was my experience growing up in Hilo, going to Hawaiian immersion school. And I don't know if people will understand this unless they were, you know, between cultures like that. Because I said on the podcast before, like when I'd go to Navahi, I was like, "Oh, come on, you're the Japanese boy, Asian boy." And then when I'd go like play sports or for Hilo High, go outside of my Hawaiian immersion school, I was a Hawaiian kid. Mm-hmm. So it's just so funny, like being between that. I know what you mean by that. It's like, okay, what am I? Or like you looked this one way, but like you're perceived another way. Mm-hmm. It's so funny that you mentioned that. But so you ended up going to Kamehameha, and this was before you transitioned. You were Colin Wong. I remember seeing the video of you at the song contest, right? And you were doing the oli, and you looked a lot more Asian, I feel like.
I did.
Yeah.
In fact, when I see you, you know, truth be told, see these eyebrows here? Mm-hmm. These are now permanently on.
Oh.
You know, this look. But I had eyebrows closer to yours and almost to the point where it was unibrow.
Oh,
if I
really?
didn't, yeah.
It's the Asian eyebrows.
It's
Yeah.
the Asian eyebrows, yes. And I was slim like you. Now look.
You still your braids are slim.
My braids are slim.
Yeah.
Yes. Kumu Hinaleimoana. Today is not Kumu Hina in this interview. This is Hinaleimoana in pigtails.
Yeah. There we go. We love it. So what was your experience like at Kapaemahu here on Oahu? My mom boarded actually, and she went to Kapalama.
What year was your mom?
Oh, she was like probably 82, 83, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I am right behind her a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I got into Kamehameha from the 7th grade. And again, truthfully, I didn't want to go because I was uncertain of what life would be like. And of course, I couldn't really tell people, but I came from a more isolated learning, environment, and got up to a big school, and it was intimidating. And of course, because I pulled the Asian side, my hair was straight, and I wasn't as big as everybody else. I wasn't as dark as everybody else. So it took me a while to find my way around. And yeah, 7th and 8th grade were some very interesting times. Some of my classmates, they realized quickly that I wasn't like the other boys. And so the teasing, it would happen. It would seem innocuous, but when I think about it, it had an impact on me. Mm-hmm. But we tried to not create too much opportunity for that to just stay with me a lot. I just tried to be quiet and not, show.
Just more passive.
Yeah.
Because you don't seem like a passive person now.
No, I'm not a passive person now. It has to be forward.
Mm-hmm.
I came through enough years of the passive side and allow people to either walk on top of me or to say something that was about me that was perhaps unkind. And I have no tolerance for it now. Excuse me. Not necessarily no tolerance, but now what I don't tolerate is allowing myself to move somebody up into my head, live rent-free. Mm-hmm. That does not happen. Mm-hmm. So whoever is out there that has something to say about me and it's negative or just really hurtful, carry on with yourself because you weren't that important to me anyway.
Yeah, period. So you had a mixed experience at Kamehameha in terms of just like people accepting you and maybe figuring out your identity. At what point did you realize, okay, this is who I really am. I'm gonna be unapologetically me. I'm Hina, not Colin.
That did not come until way later.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna keep us up at Kamehameha for another moment.
Okay, yeah.
After getting up to high school, I found one of my first little nooks or niches that I found comfort in, and that was with the Concert Glee Club and performing arts. So eventually, I would participate in a group, well, two different groups that eventually became more one for me than anything else. Singing, dancing, chanting. That was an anchor place. It was a place of comfort. And it started because Kalei Theodore, class of 88, and Aaron Jakobin, class of 87, they were having a conversation outside Bishop Hall. And I remember sitting there listening to the both of them speak in our language. And I said, why don't I speak that? I should be speaking with them. And how come I'm supposed to be Hawaiian and in my house, I didn't have that? I had Cantonese language on my dad's side, but how come my grandparents weren't able to give this to me? So I would ask more questions of my grandparents and they would tell me that they weren't allowed their parents said it was bad for them to be who they were. But that started it. So by sophomore year, I enrolled myself into Hawaiian language class for the rest of my 3 remaining years at school. Our class advisors had told us all the time, you need to go and check with your parents. You need to get their guidance on what classes you're going to take for high school, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember thinking, I don't know why you're telling me that I need to ask my parents what classes they think I should take. What do they have to do with what I want to learn? And what do they have to do? I mean, yes, they're paying for it, but what do they have to do with not only what I want to learn, but what I have to take if I'm the one who has to be doing the work, not them. So I never asked them. Never, not once. So I pretty much filled my schedule with all the things that I wanted to take. But Kamehameha at that time was very different. We had a Hawaiian studies, a Hawaiian culture class that was mandatory for a semester between 9th and 10th grade, and then a Hawaiian history class mandatory for a semester between 11th and 12th. And that was pretty much the extent of it. It was thanks to performing arts and thanks to all of that stuff that I got to travel. And then I chose as my sport. There were 2 sports actually, but my favorite sport was hoiva'a. It's canoe paddling. And if I had chosen differently, I'd be a paddler.
Yeah.
Yes, I would, because I enjoyed it. I wasn't the strongest paddler, but I got so much out of paddling. And if there is a sport that I missed, that would be it.
What did you learn from paddling?
You learn about being a team, and you learn the word selfless. Because if you're selfish, you're going to get tired, and you're going to not pull your weight, and you're not going to pull water in the canoe. And you can't be that weak link. You have to pull hard with your team, and you have to pull together. If everybody's on their own timing and everybody's looking around and doing their own thing, your canoe is not going to get anywhere. I can remember vividly, like yesterday, what it's like to be in the canoe and you getting towards the buoy and rounding the buoy. And, all right, pick it up. Take that stroke out and take us home. I remember one time we had done practice. I had several coaches, Ziggy Alameda, Darren Alameda, David Dunaway, but the most influential was Wallace Wong. And
no relation.
No relation, but my coach Wallace Wong, he was an absolute hard cookie. He had a kayak that he would pull right up to the side of the canoe. And I felt like I was the only one that he was like getting after. Come on, Wong. Come on, Wong. Push it, Wong. Push it harder. Like the whole way. That's all I heard was Wong. Come on, Wong. And, get that top hand up. How come it could never
be white? Right, instead of Wong.
Yeah, like, how come you're not calling any of the other guys? Okay? And anyway, I still hear his voice.
Haunt you to this day.
No, it's I get emotional when I talk about this, because when I feel like giving up and when it gets hard, especially something physical, going to the top of Kohelepilepe, or what people call Kokohead, or just doing something physical, I'm tired. And then I hear him, come on, Wong, push it, push it, push it, all the way, all the way. And like yesterday, just go. He becomes that voice in my head. So I owe him a lot. Him and the other sport that I told you about was football. Out of all the football coaches, Blaine Geisen, I owe Blaine and Wallace a lot in terms of making me strong internally, mentally. I went out and did the football thing because I thought that boys in school at the time were supposed to play football, even though I didn't know how to play the game. And even though I wasn't interested in the game, I said, well, how am I going to prevent the other kids from, continuing to tease me? Maybe if I joined the football team, that, I would show that I could do something, and then they would lay off of me. Mm-hmm. Well, that wasn't quite it, but I spent 3 years. We suited up, and once my classmate, I'm going to give a shout out to him, Eddie Cam from Hau'ula, he ran me over, flat on my back. I was actually, right before that, I was running the wrong way. Totally
clueless.
Yeah, totally clueless. And I thought to myself, don't they teach you how to play the game? How is it that guys come to this practice and there is no instruction in the rules of the game, how it's played, why you're doing this? Nothing. You just had to know what to do. So I decided after that I would become the manager. Physically, I could do everything. My coaches made me run with the team, especially Coach Blaine, Coach Kaisen. Thank you.
Tissue, yeah.
Coach Kaisen, he made me his opihi. And in the practices and during game time, I was right there with him. I had his plays. I had the whistle. I had the horn. I learned how to bandage up, the guys from if they fell down, they needed to. Even though we had the folks that would do that,
the athletic trainers,
I learned to help them. I learned from Mikey in the locker room how to help fix helmet and get them back and going. I would load up the van myself with the huge stuff and push the dummies, the sleds.
Yeah.
Back then they were like the heavy metal sleds pushing them all over the field. 1-man sled, 3-man, 5-man, all the dummies. I could do it. I could put them all out there. So when I think about it now, if that were me now, I could play the game now. Because like Coach Kaisen said, it's mental. It's mostly a mental game. And if you don't believe in yourself, you don't have confidence, how can you play? Yeah.
That's why I love sports, because it keeps you going physically. You got to be in shape, but the mental, the teamwork, there's so many things that you don't see on the surface. That's what it teaches you, and that's what I love, and that I encourage people to do sports. Did playing football or managing the football team, did that give you acceptance amongst your peers, or did it just make it worse?
I have relationships, friendships over the years, right? So I started as a sophomore. So with the seniors then, and then the following year, the seniors then, my connection to them are what each year was. No matter what, I know that my true spirit or duality of spirit could not be hidden, because the guys around me always knew how to let me know that they saw me. And so, for example, class of 88, I love them. They're, till this day, if they see me, they'll always if you're ever near me and they were in the room somewhere and we haven't seen each other, they're going to do this, Colin. And it's the tone of their call. And it used to happen when walking into the showers, because we all have to shower after. And so I'm not trying to be all about anything in the shower room. I just like, okay, hurry up. In, out, I need to go. because I wasn't confident. Other people teased me and said, "Oh my gosh, you this, that." Like, you must have been having fun. And it was not. It was not fun. I was scared because, again, acceptance. And so I would find that over the years, acceptance was because they saw me. Even my own classmates, class of 1990. When I told them that now Colin had not yet chosen to become Hina. Colin was just trying to still deal with Colin. Colin was dancing for the Casimiro show and at the same time, Halo Nakamale. Colin was dealing with emotions that Colin didn't know how to deal with. And I remember telling my mother that I was seeing someone. It took me so long to get it out that I had a boyfriend. I asked my mom to just be understanding and, have it between she and I. She ran to my grandfather, told him. She was distraught in her own way. And then my grandfather told my grandmother, and my grandmother turned around and I think she read him the riot act and told him, "What? Let's see your grandchild. What? You're not going to love your grandchild? What's wrong with you?" And so my grandmother drove from Mililani all the way to Liliha, Pu'unui, to tell me that she loved me, that I would always be her grandchild, no matter what. And she would always be there for me. I was sitting on the back steps of my house when she told me that. So, yeah, my grandmothers especially were my biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah, totally. She sounds amazing.
She's a tough lady.
Yeah.
From my Hawaiian grandfather, I have the strength of pule. So when it comes time to pule, please don't fool around and don't be by me. If you go fool around, time to pule is time to pule. Time to eat is time to eat. But yeah, back to sports, and it was the boys of the football team. When I told them that I had a boyfriend, it took me 45 minutes, I think, to get it out. And I gathered everybody up at Hale Wainani at the university. It was the tower. And when I finally told them, they were like, "Only now you know." Oh my gosh. We all knew. We were just waiting for you to know. And then they said, "We still love you." Till today. In fact, right before I came to do this podcast with you, I was on the phone with my classmate who is wanting to help me to organize because I'm campaigning now. And they said, "You'll still always be one of us. So we love you. It doesn't matter. We're going to do what we can for you." And back then, they told me the same thing. And then they said, "Just make sure that he's good to you, because if he's not good to you, we're going to kick his ass." So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they did. And they've always kind of looked sideways depending on who I was with at the time. Yeah. Always did.
It's nice that you formed that brotherhood, because that's what sports does too.
Yes.
It's like you have these people that you start this thing with, and then over the years you go to so many things together, right? Trauma bonding, call it, right?
Yes.
And then now, no matter who you are, you like guys, you like girls, you like anime, you like bogs, comic, whatever.
Right.
I think no matter what it is, you as boys you might tease some people. Oh, you look at it, you like comic books because maybe it wasn't.
Right.
Oh, you watch Naruto? It wasn't that cool back then, right? Like it is. Look at you playing your Pokemon cards, but you're still friends and you still accept it. But it's just a little bit of that teasing that's just kind of innate to us boys in that environment.
Yeah. Well, and then also, like, many of them have learned to really adapt to me as I am today.
Yeah.
One of my classmates, John Tom from Hilo. He he grew up here, but he moved to Hilo. And I flew in for one of our classmates' funeral one day, so he was the one to come pick me up. And then when we got to the funeral and all the other boys were there, they said, only now. And he told them, "Yeah, I had to go pick up Queen Lili Okalani over here." And, in their own crass sort of way, I accept the jokes, the teasing and stuff because that's their love language.
Yeah. Which is a love language of Hawaii.
Yeah, it's a love
Going
language.
back
When they rip you and they tease you, they love you.
Yeah, but the thing about that is only I can do that. Not if somebody else
Yeah.
does that to you, I'm
Right.
gonna beat them up.
Right.
Same with my sister. Only I can tease my sister.
Right.
Only I can bully Kanoe. But
Right.
if you do it, okay, we got a problem.
Right, right, exactly. That's exactly how they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So you ended up having a decent experience at Kamehameha towards the ending of your high school.
I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to Keali'i Pawahi and Kamehameha for the education that I received. And I bleed blue and white. If there's anything that comes to attack our school or to put our school down, I'll be one of the first to respond. And I will do my best to leverage the fact that people in the community, they hear my voice. And if I have to call people to come, I will do that because we were taught to be Kamehameha warriors. And so, yes, warrior for Keali'i Pawahi.
Imua.
Imua.
All right, so after graduating high school, and mahalo so much for sharing that and opening up about those tough moments. I know it's not easy, but yeah, that's gonna help so many people watching this. So after you graduated Kamehameha in 1990, what was life like after that? How did you end up becoming Kumu Hina?
Well, I started to attend University of Hawaii at Manoa. I got into anything and everything Hawaiian that I could. And yet again, I never asked my family what I should take. My parents and other members of my family, they all said, how come you don't go and take Japanese language? How come you don't go take business? How come you don't go take all of these things? What are you going to do with all that Hawaiian? It's not going to pay your bills. It's not going to be able to sustain you. And I refused to listen.
Yeah, and that was the narrative in the 90s.
Refused. Yeah, because you couldn't tell me that a child who grew up in a Hawaiian household with their grandparents saying that their generation was beaten for speaking Hawaiian and severely prevented from learning it. Then growing up as a Chinese, descendant of Chinese heritage and hearing my grandmother speak it and being with her when she had these interactions. She taught me one of the most profound things that all I did was replace the variables, substitute out Chinese for Hawaiian. And she said in our dialect of speaking, she said, you are Tongyan. And I would say Tongyan. Tongyan, she meant person of Middle Earth. I did not find out until just a couple of years ago, Tang, or how Americans say Tang, the Tang dynasty. There's the Qing, the Ming, the Han, the Tang. Well, in our dialect, she pronounced it Tong. Tong Yan. We were a descendant of the Tong people and that dynasty. The proper term in Cantonese is Zhonggok Yan. Zhonggok Yan means person of China. But Tong Yan was speaking very specifically to a people of a certain region. And she explained that Tongyan, person of Middle Earth, the reason why Chinese people are a certain way is because China is the center of the world. Everybody else is a foreign devil. Yeah. Everybody else is just a foreigner. And Chinese people were the center. And for centuries upon centuries. So all I did was transpose that equation. I said, what if I applied this to me being Hawaiian? If Hawaii is the center of my world and my culture and my language is the center of everything that I have to think about, how does that influence who I interact with, how I engage, what do I say, how do I think. So thanks to that, getting to the University of Hawaii, taking all those courses and making Hawaii the center of my world was perfect segue. So by the time 1993 rolls around, I determined that I should just live my truth. And excuse me. I determined that I should live my truth. And by that time, I connected with my mentor, Dana Kauaʻiki Olores. And Kauaʻiki was like me. And even though māhū, I always called her my tira. You know, she was my, like an older sister, a best friend, a mentor. I know you'll edit this.
We can.
Oh, are you able to?
Yeah, we can. Sean, you can edit this, yeah? Do you want to just make a note?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Sorry.
No worries.
Anyway.
We'll take a shishi break in like 15 minutes and we can reset.
No, so, yeah. And then she told me, T, don't ever cut your hair. Let your hair grow. You're going to be beautiful. And countless adventures. Becoming Kumu Hina is intrinsically connected to my relationship with my bestie. She would call me up and said, girl, what you doing? Tira, let's go. Where are we going? Oh, we're going to go march. March? What do you mean march? Oh, where are we going? Protest. Protest? What kind of protest are we doing? And so it's just she and I. We would go into the forest. She would teach me how to gather the kino lau of the akua of Hawaii. Ku kane lono kanaloa. And I would say, oh my gosh, you know, how did you know how to do all of this? We would go to gather ie. We would go to gather maile. We would go to gather mokihana even. We gathered everything that would be the manifestations, the kino lau of akua, and put them in a basket, and we would chant walking down the road. The things that I understand today about that come from Kauaʻiki. And that opened the door for Kumu Hina, because she and I did so many things together. Yep. We traveled together, and we had our escapades and our adventures and our shenanigans, all of the things.
You probably can't talk about most of it.
Yeah, we shouldn't talk about that.
Let's keep it Aloha after dark conversation.
This is keep it Aloha during the day. This is not keep it Aloha during the night.
This is for the family-friendly edition.
Yes, all ages, G-rated.
Wow. I mean, that's really important to have a mentor. And I was just talking with one of my mentors. He was just on the last episode, Daniel Kim. And we were saying that, like, not a lot of people in Hawaii have mentors. It's not something that we look for. It's not something that, you know, we think we need. A lot of us is, you know, we're prideful. You know, I don't need help. I can do it myself, you know. I think when you get to a certain level, or if you have ambition to do more than what is expected of you, I think having a mentor is necessary. Just to help you see the bigger picture, help you dream bigger, you know, and just show you a new path, maybe just give you direction. Because a lot of people here, we're so talented and we can do anything we want, but we just don't have direction. We don't know what to do with our talent. I think that's the biggest issue that we're trying to fix in Hawaii.
Well, it takes people to become our inspiration and to help us be an anchor. I won't ever forget that my mentor and best friend watched me as I made decisions that were not good. They were destructive, and they were just really, really poor decisions. And I made them because it gave me a false sense of acceptance. It gave me a false sense of just being able to be somebody, but the wrong kind of somebody for all the wrong reasons. And when I came back into the fold after a while, she said, culture will always be here for you. and you should stick to it. And so I did. So it's thanks to Kawaiki. And thanks to all of our adventures.
Well, shout out to Kawaiki.
Kawaiki, rest in peace.
Oh.
I see you, I hear you, in all sorts of times.
She's here. She's watching with us.
Yeah.
Okay. So nowadays, and I don't mean to just completely fast forward because there's many years in between, you are in this position where you're known, you're a prominent figure, people respect your voice. You're one of the top cultural leaders, like one of the figureheads of the Hawaiian movement, of Hawaiian Renaissance, of this Hawaiian culture, in my opinion. Like if I just think of people in my generation that I've seen fight for our lāhui, I think of Jamaica, I think of Koho'okahi, a lot of people on the Mauna, of course, right? I think of you. How did that happen? From, call-in, passive, finding acceptance, finding your mentor, trying to just figure out life and where you wanted to go, who you wanted to be. And now you're just like confident, bold, unapologetic, authentic, all the things that I look for in a good leader.
Mahalo. I wouldn't be who I am today were it not for people like my grandparents, my parents as well. We didn't even get into what I get from my mom and my dad. Maybe later on in this podcast. But what I got from people like Kawaiki, what I learned from my inspirational teachers at the University of Hawaii for Hawaiian Studies. That was my first degree. And the only two teachers that I had were Dr. Lili Kalakama Elehiva and Dr. Haunani K. Trask. They were my professors. Only those two. I didn't have anybody else because it was in the early 90s.
How cool is it that you can say you were a student of Haunani K. Trask?
Oh, it is the coolest thing, but it puts a lot of responsibility on you.
For sure.
Because you find yourself making decisions, and I often get in my head a lot. And I question, okay, if I do this, I say this to my biggest critics out there. Anybody who is very critical about me and the things that I've chosen to do in the name of what I do it for, they don't really understand where I go in my head. And they don't know when I start to diverge from the Hawaiian who did not have any language background and the Hawaiian who doesn't understand how we see the world. For example, I'm associated with, things that represent the change, that represents development. It represents all sorts of things. But I choose to specifically be in places and spaces where I know that I have the ear, I'm in the headspace of leadership because I want the stories, the names of our people and our places. I want there to be a resonance. And if that's how I'm going to do it, then I'm going to do it. Because if not, somebody else who did not have that same vision for the future would just do otherwise. So, I choose to engage with the things that I do now that sometimes they don't always jive with each other. I was still absolutely aloha aina. I am still absolutely pro political independence for Hawaii. But being pro independence, there are those who will follow this understanding and disavow themselves from anything that has to do with current political structure, current reality of being the 50th state of the United States. Do I like those things? Absolutely not. But I understand that this is our reality. And if there aren't those of our people who are willing to put themselves down, that there's so much more that could end up on the sacrificial chopping block, or we could be impacted so much more greatly without anybody there So while others in the Hawaiian community do what they do, there has to be some of us who are willing to stay engaged, to keep us relevant. Right now, we're a minor minority in our own home. And, you know, when you asked me about how did Kumu Hina start out? Remember, I said I'm a product of the class of 1990. When I graduated, that's when I remember at that time, leasehold to fee simple conversion, the courts were forcing Kapaemahu schools to sell their lands and sell their holdings because that effort was put forward as a city ordinance to allow for people to force conversion from leasehold to fee simple. On one of the Imua magazines, I was on the cover, you know, holding a sign. From 1990 until now, thanks to those kind of things, thanks to Kawaiki, thanks to being in Hawaiian studies, I've gone to everything that I could. So when you're asking me, how did this start? It wasn't just yesterday, it's 36 years now of just show up and be part of the lāhui, be part of the community. So when you say, oh, you know, how did Kumu Hina get to be this community leader? I never really tried to accept being put up to that kind of place because I didn't feel that I deserved to be treated that way. However, it was, I don't remember at this current point or at this moment who said it to me, but they said, you need to accept being honored and uplifted. Because if you allow it, you can then elevate your voice of advocacy and you can elevate our people at the same time. So allow others to honor you. Let them honor you, you honor and uplift the people. So it's twofold, you know.
Yeah, you got to accept the lei
You
when you
have
can still
to.
smell the pua.
Yes. Yes, what an image. Accept the lei when you can smell the flowers. Yeah. So anyway, and so now when people ask me, and I'll be very candid about this, am I better than anybody? No, I'm not. Do I have my own thoughts and opinions and perspectives? Absolutely. Do I have to agree with anyone? Not necessarily. And no, Hawaiians should not agree or disagree with each other any more or less than the Americans or than anybody else. We should be intelligent people. We should be able to debate, have intellectual discourse, have intelligent, grounded conversation that allows Hawaiian worldview to be the lens whereby we synthesize and process how should we see the world and how should we treat situations. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love that you have an open perspective to it because, you know, if we could wave a magic wand and be like sovereignty, independence, you know, all the great things that we have for Hawaii, it could just be done in the snap of a finger. We would love that. But that's not our reality. And I'm with you on the side of, you know, like we have to make the best of our situation that we have now. And what can we do to get in positions of power to actually make a change instead of just complaining about it on social media?
Yes.
And I think a lot of people fall into that trap of being on a one-sided conversation because you're just looking at one person talking to a screen instead of two people talking to each other. And, you know, I think, you know, maybe not so much these days because we don't talk too much about like real cultural, deep-rooted. I mean, we do, but not like we did before. When I used to get in trouble on the podcast, I think we're, at least for us, we're past that. Where like let's just live our life, let's hear perspectives, and let's just gather as much info as we possibly can, and then we make our decision moving forward. But I think some people don't like that when you stay objective or neutral because they want you to be on their side. You know, they're like, how can you support this but also support this? They don't understand the duality of it. And I think for some people who are very, very deep into the lāhui movement, the Aloha Aina movement, I don't know if they truly accept or understand.
Yes.
People like us in a position of like, I guess like you working with the Hawaiian Council, that's almost viewed as like a corporate Hawaiian.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
It is.
oh, look at you working with accepting money from whatever it is. But as a businessman, that I've been in this world of media and business for the last 5 to 6 years. I understand that it's necessary. You know, like, yes, we need the people, boots on the ground, protesting. We need the people fighting for sovereignty. We need all of that. But we also need people like you. I don't think anything changes unless we have both.
I can say from my own journey that I went from that Hawaiian, marching, protesting, gathering, rallying, you name it. I was present, yelling and screaming in the street, doing all those kinds of things. And to what did it avail us? Not much. And it only reinforced the everyone else's positionality in the scheme of things to look down on us. I am someone who used to go into the legislature and call everybody fornicators and that they're prostituting our culture, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't necessarily think that that characterization changes too much over time. Yes, there's still a lot of things going on, and there's still a lot of people that, yeah, those terms might still apply. But what I did learn was how to treat people. And when I walk into spaces and places that have our own Hawaiians and then everybody else in the economic and sociopolitical arenas, when I walk into a space, there are still some people that will look and go, oh, what is she doing here? What does she want? Why? Because they don't want me to turn, that Kumu Hina eye towards them and criticize them. But I've learned that people will listen to you if you speak in a way that allows them to be human, allows them to be fallible, allows them to possibly change their perspective on something. And I feel that at my age where I am now, I should be absolutely nuanced and absolutely in the weeds of a lot of things that get too complex for a lot of our fellow Kanaka to even start to think about. But that's because of where I am culturally, internally, and we can talk about that later because we haven't even gotten to my cultural influences. But the political stuff, the same thing that I hear this current younger generation of Hawaiians saying on social media is the same thing that many of us said many years ago. And it shuts the doors to people who are very accustomed to maneuvering right around us. And before you know it, yet again, our people will be on the wrong end of history because we were forced there. So, yeah, I don't have any reservations or remorse about the things that I've engaged in, in the name of supporting Hawaiian community issues. I can only say that I hope our next generations will be able to move to move the needle or to take the ball to the next goal line. That will uplift our community, where Hawaii will still be a place for Hawaiians, where Hawaiians can come home. And I mean, that's a whole other story in and of itself. I think you only gave us 2 hours today.
We can go longer if we need to. I just have to check who's coming in later.
No problem.
But so how was it on the opposite end? I'm curious of getting into this position of I guess corporate Hawaii, because you were seen as somebody who was like who is very Aloha Aina, but I'm sure they had their reservations of hiring you in this position because they're like, is she gonna, yell at people? Or maybe they wanted you to yell at people. That's why you're hired. But I'm just curious on like the opposite end of like, there's the other side from the lāhui, like, oh, sell out, whatever. It's like you work with anybody that's not local, like, oh, sell out. I mean, we get that, right? And then on the other end, they're like, oh, do we want this person? Or are they too radical? Are they X, Y, and Z? Are they controversial, right?
Well, let me give you the brief timeline. 13 years I spent teaching K through 12 at Halaolokahi Public Charter School. And in that time frame and beyond, I spent 13 years, 11 of which I was in leadership as the chair for the Oʻahu Island Borough Council. I developed a good rapport with the state agency, State Historic Preservation Division. I developed good rapport with developers. I developed a good rapport with community. And I would sit to myself and think, how and why is it that we are always oppositional? How and why is our iwi kupuna becoming the spear and shield? And that's when I would get into my head, get into the weeds and say, no, I won't make our iwi kupuna spear and shield. I have to be logical. And I have to be about, in the case of, example, the rail. During my time as chair of the Borough Council, there was much to be said with the hype, the gaslighting that would go on about thousands of boroughs are going to be desecrated. But if you knew the type of technology that the rail was employing, then you would know the touchdown points are the main points that are going to be focused on. We know that the federal level of what is considered allowable or not would allow phased approach of archaeological inventory survey. Meanwhile, the state required a complete and completed archaeological inventory survey before any work can be done. Which level, federal or state, afforded greater protection for iwi kupuna? Well, the Paulette Ka'anohi-Kalekini lawsuit forced the rail project to honor and uphold state law because it afforded a greater level of protection for Malama iwi kupuna. As such, it wasn't about thousands of iwi kupuna going to be desecrated. It was very methodical, and the archaeological inventory surveys were done. Where there was inventory, where there was something found, that then becomes a part of what comes before Borough Council. And anything not found, if there was something found subsequently to that, then there was a process. So there's a rhythm and a rhyme to all that. There's a process, but you have to know the law and you have to know how to apply it. A lot of times, sort of the simplistic kind of view that's prevalent in our community doesn't allow for folks to really just distill things to the level that is necessary and to be that level of logical. So, yeah, it's at the stage for me then later on to develop a relationship with probably the largest development that changed the face of Honolulu, that's Ward Village. And the greatest criticisms that have come to me said, oh, you're a sellout. And you're saying prayers to honor and enable that development. And I think to myself, I'm not the law that allows for that development. When I get pulled to the table to offer a prayer, I say a prayer to say, I acknowledge the ancestors of our places and spaces. May they continue to be at rest. And that particular project of Ward Village, along the way, over the years, they have done what they needed to do regarding Malama iwi kupuna. And I chose to be connected to them because that was the only way I was going to ensure that our place names would survive into the next generations.
You even named some of the buildings. I remember when I met
named
with
the
you.
first half
Yeah,
of the buildings.
I remember you mentioned because I live over there. I remember we.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Which one do you live in?
I don't want to know.
Okay. Well, mystery.
I don't want everybody. People probably know, but I don't want to say it on the podcast.
It's okay. So you should know that for those places and spaces, yes, I went. What was I saying prayer for? I prayed for the lives of the people that will work there. I prayed for the lives of people that would live there. And Kumu Hina is not the one that is making the law. I had to learn how to be logical. It took me a long time to do this, to know that if I have a problem with development, I better go talk to the people that make these laws. If I have a problem with how high the building is, I better go talk to HCDA. If I have a problem with all these details, there's every office and every public elected official to go and talk to. Kumu Hina, when I go now for Pule, that is connection between us here and Akua and our ancestors. So I ask for wellness. I ask for the lives of the people that will be working in these places and spaces to be healthy and prosperous. And I also ask for nothing to fall upon the people that live there. Now, is it Kumu Hina that allows foreign people outside of Hawaii? You could come from America. You could come from any other country for that matter. Does Kumu Hina write those laws to allow them to buy? No, Kumu Hina doesn't do that. And human life, as long as the laws allow somebody to come and live there and buy, then I will sleep well knowing that I may not be able to influence those laws unless I was one of those lawmakers. But I will ask for blessing upon the lives of these people and that they be safe and that their life, is not hindered by negativity.
Yeah, and they don't act up. That's why I live there, because I'm just regulating. I'm just making sure they don't act up. They're keeping it aloha over there in that area. That's why I'm there.
Good. Well, and fast forward. So after Halau Lokahi, I started a journey to do those kinds of things, engaging at that level. And then I eventually made it as an outreach worker for the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And upper leadership they had great concerns about me being there because I was very critical of Oha as well. And my boss at that time was Kuhio Lewis. He had faith in me. He had brought his son to be my student at Halau Lokai because I was a firm hand and a firm, staunch, stern voice teaching the kids, K through 12.
If you was my kumu at Nāvea, I would be scared of you.
That's good.
Yeah. I see the clips in the documentary when you're talking to your students.
That's good.
That's a classic kumu hula right there.
Yes.
Kumu ha'a was our kumu hula.
Yes. When you look across the people and you look them straight in the eye and you say,
I'm already getting nervous.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I see that we're not together on this. How about you get together?
Yeah.
Quickly.
Of kumu hula and just kumus in Hawaiian immersion or like charter schools, they just know how to be witty and say the things.
Yeah.
That's like, it's not mean, but it like hits you. And you're like, it makes you question your whole life. Ugh, I don't know how you guys do that.
Island people will understand island cynicism.
Yeah.
Now, we should not condone violence because violence is not necessary. But, when our parents used to say, how about a black eye? How about I knock you out? Or how about this? It's cynical. It's sarcastic. And so if you know how to be sarcastic like that.
Yes, that's what it's sarcastic. Yeah.
It's sarcastic. Maybe cynical is not the word. Sarcastic, however, is the word. And so when my kids used to test me, and I said, how about let's play a game of Burger King? Have it your way. Would you like to go to the doctor or the dentist first? I'll be happy to send you for free. Which would you like? Burger King. Have it your way. And they're like, oh. I said, okay, so it's going to be my way. Get it going. Hurry up.
See, you as a student, you don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah, you don't know how to respond to that.
And that's the thing, because as students, we like to talk back to the teacher.
Right.
But when you don't know what to say back, that's when we're stumped.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you know that somebody's acting up.
Yeah.
And they're causing a great ruckus. They're being disruptive beyond acceptable. And so we'd say, hello, my lovely shining one.
Yeah.
My dear, sweet, loving student, ever so kind. You're pushing my limits right about now. And the more you push my limits, the more I'm going to want to push you over the cliff. And they're like, oh. Because, of course, it's sarcastic, right? But, to outsiders, they were like, oh my gosh, you're so violent.
Yeah.
Well, you need to spin the head of the student listening to you, get them to do what you want them to do, because you got to get them going. Mm-hmm. And island kids have wild imaginations. Wild. So put a wild thought in there of what you're just about to do.
Yeah.
Become the... And they go like, oh. And then they go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just spin them right out of the rut they're in, because, they need some help.
Yep.
I love all... It was so funny. I read a comment. It was on social media. And it had to do with me being a campaign candidate this year. And one former student said, oh my gosh, she was horrible. Horrible. I had such a horrible experience under her. And I thought to myself, she probably didn't understand that kind of island sarcasm and that kind of more rough kind of treatment, because everybody else certainly understood what that was.
I think she probably also wasn't a good student, because if I'm just thinking about myself, and I feel bad for my kumu after growing up, right? After leaving Navahi, I left my senior year, I went to Kaiser. But it's not till years later I'm like, dang, I probably deserve to be yelled at for not listening or not doing that correctly, or for joking around or making a joke during the pico or whatever. I think that some people, they in like strict environments, because Hawaiian charter schools are strict. I think if you don't do well with what is it called, like authority. You're probably not gonna have a good experience. But then you realize later, like, all the time in hula when they're like, oh, you don't have a good lavena, sit on the side, or like don't step over somebody when they're crossing because you're stealing their mana. Like, all those things, are standing in pico for 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, all that stuff I hated. But as I get older, I appreciate. And all the times I got scolded by my kumu, or was scared to talk to Kumu Hiapo or whatever, I'm like, I understand now. Like, I get it. I get it now that I'm an adult and I see what they were doing. I'm sorry that I probably wasn't the best student and I frustrated them. Especially because I was a teacher in Madagascar for 2 years. Wow. So I know what it's like to be a teacher. I just don't think they understand. So I think it's misunderstood, that comment.
It is.
Yeah.
It's great cultural conflict and clash.
Yeah.
Because my methodology was very reflective of very old school kinds of treatment towards my kids. As one of my legendary kumu, Randy Fong, would say, whip and coddle. And love hard. And so, for being out there, young people would react a certain way if they identified me in the same way as they identify their parents, their grandparents. Because I saw no reason why I should not be considered equal status to their parents when they go home. They become my responsibility. And they are just as much my responsibility. I wasn't getting paid, salary to treat them like, not treat them like my own. People, I firmly believe that people who are teachers need to love on our kids as much as they would love their own kids. And if tough love is what it takes, tough love is what it gets. And you have to be straight up, and we should treat those kids no different than how we would treat them in an island home. Why is there a great disconnect? I don't know why I have to speak to you differently.
Yeah.
I don't know why I have to treat you differently at school than I would at home. And so, Kuhi always brought his son to me, and I became his son's teacher, my student Bryson. And so when Kuhio hired me to work at Oʻahu, I had a reputation of being a really hard teacher. And I will admit that there were times where I was extreme, and people would say I'm full of myself, but there was a reason why. Because I'm māhū. And there was absolutely no way that I was going to allow people to continue to look down on me and tell me that I'm less than and I am incapable of becoming a teacher to young people. In a Hawaiian way or Pacific Island way, I can be a great teacher because I got the qualities that it takes. From a Haole perspective, from outsider worldview, you're trans. You can't possibly be a good example. No. You don't come and tell me any of that. Unless you can do what I do better than me and you're willing to come here and do it, you have nothing to say. You're in my way. Beat it. And I have had parents to come. They have challenged me being the teacher of especially their sons. One father said to our director and founder, I don't know if I like that one be my son's teacher. Yeah, I don't think so. And our director said, who? Kumu Hina? She's great with the kids. Your son will be fine. And he left with his reservations. Son stayed with us for a while. The biases that our young people have are completely from their environment that they come from. Parents, grandparents, family, friends, you name it. All that comes from them. So that was my first real go-round with that. And I remember there was a rally, there was a march down the road. We were going through Waikīkī, and there were people that were watching. And I could read the lips of some of these local island folks that happened to be there. And I saw them go, that's the māhū, that's the māhū. Yeah, that one over there, the māhū, look. And it shot through me like a bullet. And it tore the hole and went right to the other side. And I remember thinking to myself, damn, my kids. I don't want my kids to catch bad rap because I'm their teacher. It's bad enough that this is what I get. Don't ever look at my kids in a cross-eyed way because I'm one of the people in their life. Don't ever. That's what made Kumu Hina that Kumu Hina. And I used to tell my kids, I said, it is no secret that Kumu's life is different from others. And I refuse to have anybody say anything negative about my kids because of me. So I had the highest of expectation, and I required them to demonstrate that they could toe the line like no other. Step it up. So that way, if somebody wants to say anything, the only thing that they'll ever be able to say is, damn, she had her kids together. And you know what? All of my Halaulokahi students, anybody who had me as their teacher, yes, I was that kind of kumu. And yes, my kids, they might have been naughty behind the scenes. They might have been kolohe. They might have done all sorts of things. And to my one student who was doing the thing that she was doing in the back of that van after our performance, you know, I know you are, and your friends ratted out on you years later. I will always love hard on my kids. I will always cherish and appreciate them. And I would always feel some kind of way. So I wanted to make sure, but halaulokahi to doing private sector to going to OHA and realizing that my voice had already now become what it was. I could walk into them and make them afraid because I was not abashed of speaking Hawaiian and letting all the Hawaiians in the room know who couldn't speak our language. Yes, I used our language and our culture as my spear and shield because our people should be thinking with a cultural lens. They should be thinking according to who we are. What does our language teach us? What does our history teach us? What does our culture say about things? Like identity. My identity is as Kanaka is Kanaka. It's contingent upon moʻokū Hawaiian aina or genealogy and land. My identity has nothing to do with genitalia or lack thereof, nothing to do with who I sleep with, nothing to do with any of that. Well, the greatest critics will never understand it because they don't know anything else except what they were programmed to know. And therefore, I'm still a bad person. But they don't know that people who can say, oh, what a lovely hula. Well, there's so much more that comes to that thing called hula. There's a whole life of understanding, you know? So me going from Office to Hawaiian Affairs to now being the ambassador for Hawaiian Council. And yes, we move around in corporate circles. And yes, we do a lot of these things. But that's because we know if we can leverage whatever we can to uplift something for our people, that's what we're going to do. We're not saying that others shouldn't do what they need to do. We'll just keep doing this because we got to continue to create opportunities because the rest of the world is trying to take it all away. Are we supposed to just sit back and not do anything and just cry about it? I don't think so. And if people don't like what's being done by Kumu Hina and others in these circles, get it going and do what you need to do.
Exactly.
Right?
Don't just talk.
Don't just talk. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that gives us a pretty good understanding of who you are and how you got to where you are. We have some social media questions, so let's take a quick shishi break and we'll be right back.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. I just wanted to say a big mahalo to our travel partner, Hawaiian Airlines, for supporting this podcast. One thing I always appreciate about Hawaiian is that no matter where you're headed, they always find ways to bring a little piece of home with you. Starting July 1st, they're rolling out a new onboard dining experience featuring meals created by Maui's own chef, Sheldon Simeon. So whether it's mochiko chicken and garlic noodles, a teriyaki chicken bento, or an island-style breakfast, you'll be able to pre-order your meal before your flight and enjoy a true taste of Hawaii in the air. And for our Kama'aina listeners, Hawaiian is saying mahalo to its Huaka'i members with a special launch offer. Huaka'i members can receive their first 2 pre-ordered meals free as they try out the new menu. They're also featuring local favorites like Anahola Granola, Diamond Bakery, Hawaiian Host, and Honolulu Cookie Company on board. Check out the new menu and book your next trip with Hawaiian Airlines. All right, we're back from a quick shishi break. Mahalo to the water in my flask for providing the best quality shishi in town. If you want to sponsor the podcast and be the official drink sponsor of the Keep It Low podcast, let us know. All right, so let's get into the social media fan questions. The first one comes from Ea Kavika. This person, it might be Ea Kavika. This person says, if you lived in traditional/ancient Hawaii, what do you think your role would be? That's a cool question.
Living in traditional Hawaii,
Yeah.
For me, this question avails itself to my understanding of what I believe are the two most important things when we look at each other as Kanaka. And when we seek to find our place in the world and our place of acceptance in and amongst each other. Acceptance as Kanaka comes to someone who avails themselves to the collective, not just the self-serving individual needs of oneself. Mm-hmm. So my likes, my interests, they include language and the history of our language and Pule. Pule is a great part of my life because of my grandfather. So whether it be on a more Kalikiano orientation of Pule, or even some of the elements that invoke Pule Honua, our traditional Pule, the commonality between the two is that our people have a great and profound understanding and relationship with their Pule. So I might be one of those people. I might be someone that would also be doing what I did in this lifetime, which is to teach. Mm-hmm. But traditional Hawaii, the most important thing about traditional Hawaii is that we are far more oriented to the collective than modern day Hawaii of 2026, where we've been Americanized to the degree that everybody is so individualistic. Mm-hmm. And we don't place the needs of the collective above our own individuality. Mm-hmm. So I can't say that I would be doing something more different than what I was already doing. In fact, I believe that that's what gives Kumu Hina that Kumu Hina name, is because I'm different from other people. That's what makes me different, is what I advocate for, and from the internal place that I operate from, which we're going to get to in more questions.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I guess I never asked, or I don't know if you've ever talked about it on another interview, about how you got the name Kumu Hina, Hinaleimoana.
So when you're born Colin Goikong Wong, when you finally realize that, for example, the name Colin, it wasn't, one, it was an English name. Two, it wasn't a name that I was going to be leaning hard into. Mm-hmm. Even though I find out later on in life that Colin, I believe, means brave.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a name that comes from somewhere either amongst the British or the Irish, or it's that kind of name.
Yeah.
I don't know how my mother got that name. But my Chinese grandparents gave the name, actually it was my gongong. My grandfather gave the name Goigong. Goigong, as the youngest of my dad's 4 children, the eldest, my brother Alan Wong, the chef.
Yeah.
His name is Goin. My next sister below him is Goifa, the flower, Goifa. And then from my dad's second marriage, my sister right above me, Suilan. And my mom is my dad's third marriage, and I became Goigong. But Goigong, in my understanding, it means something that is precious and bright and brilliant. So my popo would give me the example of precious brilliance, like how brilliant the light of the moon is. Something shiny and bright, like a bright light. So that always stuck with me. So when I think of moon, bright light, and its fullest,
yeah,
it's almost as bright as the sun. It's just a different hue of light. So I thought to myself, how can I harness the mana of my given name, but in a form that can be conveyed through the Kanaka lens? And so Hina, there are many Hina. There's Hina I Kamalama, there's Hina I Keahi, Hina I Kawai, Hina Keka, Hina Malailena, Hina Opu Halakoa. These are all legendary Hawaiian Hina names. And I said, why can't I be a Hina? Because my life is actually taking me down this road where, number one, Hina lei moana, I am Hina of my mother. I am a lei, I'm the child of my mother Moana, because that's her given name. In our family, the Moana name is actually longer. It's Moana Nui Waikai'o, means the great ocean, but Waikai. And Waikai'o, it sounds to me like a Hawaiian name, a Hawaii island name, because those brackish shoreline areas where salt and fresh water mix, it's very common on Hawaii Island, around the island. So Moana Nui Waikai'o, Waikai is salt and fresh. And Kai'o is choppy or agitated sea. So I am Hina, child of my mom, but Hina because I was born my family's son, and I said, no, I don't ever consider myself, let me sing this real loud and clear on this podcast if you'll allow me to. I never claim to hold the mana space of biological wahine. No matter what I have done or will ever do to this body, I will never be able to hanau or give birth to a child. That's not the mana I was born with. It was not my gift. It's not my place. So I don't try to hold that space. It doesn't mean that myself and people like me aren't wahine aspiring. That's how I like to call it. Wahine aspiring. And, people who are not attuned to Hawaiian and Pacific Island culture, who don't know this experience in life and only know the kinds of negative attitudes towards people like me, they'll never understand that there's much more in life to be spoken of than the physical articulation of your body. There's a mind. There's where are we mentally? Where are we emotionally? Where are we spiritually, internally? And also spiritually, what is our spirit? Who is our spirit? If you ever listen to certain men, they're physically male, but their wiring on the inside, their thinking, is sometimes very wahine, and vice versa. And that has nothing to do with their sexuality. There's also certain wahine that are, you listen to them, they might be married to a man or they might have a relationship with a man, but the way they think, the way they work, it's a male. So what I have arrived at age 54 is that the soul of a person, the soul may not necessarily be in congruence with what they were born. And sometimes that incongruence manifests, and that soul really wants to dominate that person's life. In the case of somebody like me, there's a duality to the spirit, the soul in me. There is a wahine spirit and there is a kane spirit. Native people understand this very clearly. So I'm not like one of your former guests. And this is no shade to Sister Sasha. This is, Sasha made her own name. And how she sees the world is how she sees it. I see the world even more differently because I don't try to own the outsider articulation. I don't try to own queer. I don't try to own LGBTQIA, because those concepts and that construct is based on sex and gender being an identity, which it isn't for me.
Which it isn't in Hawaiian culture as well.
It isn't in Hawaiian culture. I just need more time with dear sister and everybody else. And this is absolutely no shade to any of my sisters or brothers out there. who are like me. None. The understandings that I have arrived at have only arrived after many years of sitting in my head thinking, like, why do people look down on people like me? Why are we called abominations? Why are we called bad examples? And that reality is not mine. And I don't try to own it. I don't even try to claim a space in that system of seeing the world. That's the difference. That's who I am. Why? Because Kumu Hina's world has to be about being Kanaka first. Remember, it's because in my Chinese heritage, my grandmother's term, Tongyan, person of Middle Earth. And for Chinese people, China is the center of their world and their life. And everybody else is foreigners, outsiders. So same thing, Hawaii is the center of my world and everybody else is foreigners, outsiders. That is inclusive of how we see identity and how we see who we are in the world.
Yeah. So just to give a little context for people who don't understand Polynesian culture, for example, Hawaiian, they had aikane, they have māhū. They, Samoa, they have fafafinge, right? Similar to the Tongan culture, I believe. I don't know as much for the Tongan. And your husband's Tongan.
My ex-husband.
Oh, ex-husband. Sorry, excuse me.
Yes.
I saw
my
the
dear
I saw
ex-husband.
the documentary, and I saw some parts where I'm like, I'm happy it's X now.
Yeah, let me diverge for a moment. My ex-husband, I don't hate my ex-husband. I feel for my ex-husband. In fact, he wouldn't have ever become my husband to begin with if he were not that spirit where he doesn't give a rip about anything or anybody. He just does his own thing. He's tried many times over many years to have us get back. And I tell him, I love you, but you're not good for me. You're not healthy for my life. You will take my life and plummet it to a place where, like, it's not the stuff that I'm supposed to be doing in this lifetime that I was given. So let me love you from afar. Love you. Kiss, kiss, hug, hug. Carry on. Do your thing.
Oh,
Love you.
that's a very mature way to look at it, and also very real.
Do you know why? Because in his world, newcomers who come into the circle, like if he's in a kava circle, if the old people who are accustomed to him, they know and they leave him alone. But the new guys that recognize him from the Kumu Hina film, they will say to him, like, especially if he's talking to the girl that's serving kava, they'll say, oh, he don't like you. He don't want you. He's gay. And they'll say it in Tongan. Oh, koe whare ti. And just because my marriage, after 6 years, we went our separate ways, I see no reason why I should try to bring him down. Why? If I try to bring him down, what does that say about me? What does that say about the kind of person that I am? What does that say? Am I so self-centered as that I feel that this person who I gave my all to, if he turns out not to be my person, do I take him down because I could not find success? No. I wish him his best. I wish him his best because I wish myself best. And I wish him love and good things because I want love and good things to possibly come back to me too.
Yeah.
I
love that. I have a very similar mindset with my exes. I've never had like a bad breakup. That's awesome. It's cool to hear that.
My father taught me this.
Yeah.
Yeah. My father was always very kind to my mother. Way long after they divorced. If I was the one who went to my father and said to my father, my mom needs help, please, are you able to help? And his response was, and how much is this going to cost me now? But it's the idea that he was there because I could not help my mother as her only child.
Yeah.
Although, truth be told, first time that I'm saying this on a podcast, I believe, that I was supposed to have a sister 2 years older. And she passed away shortly after birth. My mom told me her name was going to be Maya. And she so wanted a daughter. And so when I was in my 30s, when she told me this, and I was like, oh my goodness, you're the reason. You, Mom, you wished me into being. Not in a bad way, but whether you say be careful what you ask God for, or be careful what you ask the universe for, because when life gives it to you. And so, yes, my parents got a son and a daughter.
Best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds. Yeah. And I am more fierce now. I am stronger now than I ever was as a child that was born. But Hina can't be Hina and harness the full strength of Hina if the foundation that Colin laid was not factored into it. And there are times where I run concurrent with the mind and the heart and the spirit of both in order to navigate the places and spaces that I do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we do have a question about this topic, so I'm going to skip onto it. I'm trying to see where I put it. Right there. Micah_JPG says, what's a misconception about māhū that you wish people would finally unlearn?
Thank Micah for this question. People think that we're only about bad things. People think that we're only about sex, and we're only about prostitution, or that we're only about things that have a heavy affect of trying to be feminine. There's all kinds. And in mankind and in nature, especially amongst people, there's a wide variety of personalities, a wide diversity of mindset. So to reduce us to such simplistic level when we're complex beings as humans, I think it devalues human experience. So when it comes to the term māhū, again, people only seem to focus on what were you born, and because someone may have been born with a male genitalia, that qualifies you as a man. I know plenty of people that still look like male and still have male genitalia, but are they what I consider man? Like, when it says be a man? No, I don't. Because those same kinds of men, we've seen too many that are violent, that are destructive, that are abusive, that are all sorts, and all in the name of man. And no, it's okay. Again, I believe that in Hawaii and in the Pacific, we come from a far more elevated society. We are far more sophisticated, where our pronoun, in Hawaiian, we pronounce it oia. Oia is found in Hawaii, Samoa, Tahiti, Nukuhiva, oia. In other islands like Tonga, Tokelau, Tuvalu, Rapa Nui, Aotearoa, Rarotonga, they use koia, the root of which is ia. Ia is he, it is she, it is it.
Yeah.
When you come from a culture and a society that is of the Moana Nui, Hawaii is a part of the Moana Nui. And while we have our own cosmogonic genealogies, we're still a part of this Pacific family, the Moana Nui Akea, Moana Nui Akanaloa. Ia, imagine how elevated is this? How sophisticated is this, that our ancestors knew that there was far more to an individual than the physicality of their existence, that we are sophisticated to the point where it's irrelevant to try to bifurcate masculine, feminine. People don't even really understand that the bifurcation of masculine and feminine comes from Latin-based language cultures.
Which is why in Spanish and
In
things
Spanish,
have a gender.
French,
Yeah.
Portuguese, Italian, there's gender-oriented terminology. There's a feminine and a masculine. For example, what is it in Spanish?
Well, ella and el, ella.
Yes,
Yeah.
señor,
Yeah.
señorita,
Yeah.
right? There's a,
Niña, niño.
yes, niña, niño.
Yeah.
Pacific Island culture does not bifurcate. This is not exclusive to Hawaii. I would like to see where, especially amongst the quote unquote Polynesian, the Moana Nui Islands, where we bifurcate this. There's no evidence in our language or culture. Oya or Goya is he, she, and it. Each of our islands have our own terms. Some have their cognates throughout the islands. For example, māhū is not exclusive to Hawaii. It is found in Tahiti, in Nukuhiva. And the general understanding of māhū is the people in the middle between Tane and Wahine. In the other islands, they use words that say, in the manner of man or in the matter of woman, or if you want to say in the manner of male or female. And in the manner of and in the way of or to be like. That acknowledges the birth heritage of the individual, but it also speaks to their heart and their spirit and their mind. So people who don't understand this, I really don't have patience to try to teach them because they're not trying to learn anything new. Why would I want to try to expend energy on somebody who's not trying to be about that?
Yeah. I always say, like,
Pointless.
what's the point of explaining
point.
myself to somebody that
There's no
doesn't
point.
want to understand me?
Right, there's no point. If they're happy with where they are and the understandings that they have in life, then so be it.
Yeah.
They're just not, they're not open to being a little more sophisticated and learning beyond what they know.
Yeah. You're going to love this too because it goes beyond Polynesia. So I was in Madagascar in the Peace Corps. I learned Malagasy. And I'm not sure if you know that Malagasy is in the same Austronesian family as Hawaiian, Tongan, Samoan. So they say easy for Oya.
Oh,
Easy. It's it. They don't have a he or she either. A lot of the words are similar. So like I'm sure you can get fitu valu,
oh yes.
ehiku e valu.
Yes. Oh, that's what they say in Madagascar?
Yeah, fitu valu.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you count for me in
Irai,
Madagascar?
rua, telu, efatra, dimi, enina, fitu valu, sivi, fulu. But rua,
Say that again.
irai, rua, telu. Yeah.
Rua teru is
Yeah.
the same words.
Yeah.
What is
Lua,
for?
ekolu,
Yeah.
efatra, eha.
Fa,
Yeah.
efa.
Yeah. Efatra, dimi,
Okay.
enina, eono.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fitu, valu, ehiku e valu. And then sivi.
CV?
Sivi is totally different than Ava.
No.
Oh, is it similar to Tongan?
Yes.
Oh,
And then,
Sivi Fulu.
okay,
Yeah.
in Tongan, taha ua tolu fa nima ono fitu valu hiv. Wait, what did I miss? Taha ua tolu fa nima ono fitu valu hiva hongofulu.
Oh, wow. Like Fulu.
Hongofulu.
Umi. Yeah. That's
Samoan,
interesting. Yeah.
tasilua tolu fa lima ono fitu valu iva sefulu.
Yeah.
Tahitian, old language, tahi rua toru maha. Now they say ho'e piti toru maha. Pa, ono, hitu, va'u, iva ahuru.
Oh, wow. That's so crazy.
Nukuhiva, tahi e ua, e to'u, e ha, e ono, e hitu, e va'u, e iva, and onohu'u. Onohu'u. But all those words, onohu'u, ahuru, sefulu, hongofulu, all having something to do with 10. Do you know what the word is in Hawaiian?
Umi.
Yes. umi, but do you know another related word that has something to do with 10?
Should I know this?
Anahulu.
Oh, Anahulu.
Anahulu is a period of 10 days.
Oh.
So when we say ekolu anahulu, how many days is that?
30. A
30
month.
days.
Yeah, basically.
Ha anahulu. So it's a measurement, but the hulu, anahulu, ana to measure by 10. Anahulu.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I love the etymology. Even just like
Yes.
how they thought about it back. Like same way we go mahina, right? Mahina is moon and month. Same thing in Malagasy. Vulana is month and moon as well. And to see if you can guess this, in Malagasy the word is lanitra.
Heaven.
Yeah, langi in
Yeah,
Samoan.
lanitra.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then what about this? Mafana.
Warm.
Yeah, mafana, hot. Yeah, warm.
Yes.
Isn't it so cool?
Oh my gosh. Now you're going to make me want to go learn.
Yeah.
So that word mafana, in Tongan, mafana. Samoan, mafana. In Hawaiian,
Mehan.
we have the word mahana,
Oh, yeah.
but mehana and pumehana is a more common application of that understanding. It is the same definition, just slightly different pronunciation, but mahana is also found in our historical text. Now, since we're talking about language, in Tongan, mahanga, our common term is mahoi.
Oh,
But did you also know that mahana is the same as mahoi in Hawaiian
wait.
for double or twin?
So we can say mahana
Mahana
for mahoi.
and mahoi.
Oh,
In Tongan, mahanga. Yeah.
dang, that's
And
so cool.
like that's why when someone, people don't understand my life and my relationship with the Moana Nui. They don't know that at age 17 going to 18, I became a ho'okama, or some people would say hanai. I became, an added on child to a Ni'ihau family and a Tongan family. My Ni'ihau mom made sure that I could speak Ni'ihau way and think, not just speak, but to think, act, do, and feel as Ni'ihau does, because she treated me like her own child. So the things that she espoused, the things that she approved of, didn't approve of, the life and the mentality was given to me by how she treated me. Same thing with Tongan. Well, I have to call out her name. Linda Kawahine Kaulana Kanahele, who married Samuela Ka'omoana.
Oh, I know that last name, Kanahele.
Yes. So, my Ni'ihau Makua and my Tongan mom, Mele Kaipa Ofa, well, Mele Kaipa, who became Maka, but she was an Ofa. And my sister, Liua Kilelei Aiha Ele Kitonga, Maka. We just say Hanai family, right? That's what most common term is now. So these two families from Ni'ihau and Tonga become my family as well. Funerals, birthdays, celebrations, family problems, issues, traveling. I had a chance to experience life beyond my own biological family. So people don't understand the way I see the world is influenced by way more than just my father's Chinese side of the family, more than both my mom's parents, who come from the generation who were beaten and prevented from speaking Hawaiian. I come from beyond that. I come from a background that has native speaking in Ni'ihau and in Tongan. And as far as that goes, it's no secret that my first long-term relationship was with a Samoan man. It's no secret that in school, the things that I participated in took me to Polynesia, to different islands. It's no secret that from that, my life has taken me to travel the Moana Nui. So, yes, we are our own distinct, unique island cultures, but we're not that distinct and unique when we consider that we're a very large family spread out over, thousands of islands, over millions of miles, and like you just said, Madagascar.
Which is the craziest to me because it's on the other side of the world.
On
like
the
exact
other
opposite side of the world.
How
does that happen?
World?
Yeah. Exactly.
So thank you. I learned something today.
Wow, I got to teach the Kumu.
You taught me something. Thank you. I'm going to go learn about this.
Oh, it's so interesting. Yeah.
Well, and so if we know our language, like the power that comes, like how did Kumu Hina arrive at how I feel about Hawaii and Hawaiians being a part of the Moana Nui? How did I arrive at having this understanding that our identity is always based off of genealogy and land and not your genitalia and not who you sleep with and how you dress? How did I arrive at the complexities that I see the world through and the lens that must always be applied if I'm going to make Hawaii and the Pacific my center of my life and my world? Well, it's through language and culture. The more I ended up cross-referencing my Niihau and Tonga experiences and then Samoa and then everybody else, it's like, oh gosh, there's some very key core concepts. Example, if I pass by your house in old Hawaii, what would be a common thing? Do you know?
When did they invite you in?
What do they say?
Well, in they did that in Madagascar. They said mandrusu, like come in.
Mandrusu.
Yeah.
Oh. Do you know what Samoa says?
What?
Susu mai.
That's cool.
Yeah, susu mai. Come in.
Yeah, like helemai.
Tonga says hu mai.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a common thing, and they say that to strangers. Yes. We're walking by the village, you don't even know them. They're like, mandrusu, mandrusu. And you'd be like, you say something like, it's okay. Like, and they're like, minambari, like, come eat rice.
Okay.
Yeah, they use like eating rice as just like to eat minambari. Right. Yeah.
Do you know that in at least in Chinese way of inviting somebody to come eat, yak fan, but eating rice because it's a common thing. Loi la, lo yak fan la. That's what my grandmother would say. Lo yak fan la. Yeah, because you're supposed to invite, and in Hawaiian, Niihau people would say, "Hey, otau pea, hele mai, mai ai, mai paina." Samoa, you walk by a Samoan person's house, sao ai. They invite you. Tonga, you can be sitting on your porch. You see somebody walking by. Hao kai, mo mai ke tau kai. Especially if there's food there, you know.
Yeah.
It's customary because you don't know where they came from. You don't know how far they came from. You don't know who they are. But hospitality, kindness, and courtesy is always afforded. It is a hallmark of the people of the Moana Nui.
Yeah. It just makes me even more. I've never looked into it really, like why Madagascar is so similar to here. Even the words, like they have words like malama and aina, but they have different meanings. Like malama means slippery, aina is life. Which now that I think about it, that's actually really cool that aina is life, in mi aina to live, but it's like the word aina, which is like basically what which is life in Hawaii.
Yes.
Oh, it's giving me chicken skin thinking about it.
It's no different when we say aina. Aina is the land. But we know that our metaphor for aina is what? The land is our mother.
Mother, yeah.
Land is our mother. What is her name? She goes by Papa. Papa Hanaumoku. Sometimes Papa is known by another name. haumea. And mea, that word for mea, the term mea is a word applied to reddish things like reddish dirt. So honua mea, as in pele honua mea, pele of the red dirt earth. Because the iron ore, that's science, right? So in Samoan, ainga, in Tongan, kainga, it means family. And if the land is our mother in Hawaii, it makes entire sense for the other islands that use ainga or kainga to mean family. Land is our mother. Is it not? Are we not talking about the same basic construct of understanding? Yes. By me.
Yeah. Well, this is a great question because it just led to like this amazing conversation we just had about these languages and cultures. But I'm gonna move forward to the next question. I think that was only like the second question we had. Next question comes from my sister Kanoe Lehua. She says, "What is a hot take that you feel isn't talked enough about in Hawaii/Kanaka discourse?"
Hot topic that's not talked about?
Yeah, enough.
We don't talk about the world of possibilities that can be held. It's not so much that making Hawaii the center of our life and our world from a very practical standpoint of articulating it and thinking and acting from that perspective. People don't have the conversation about all of the societal issues that we deal with. Immigration, houselessness here in Hawaii. The houseless population is what it is for several reasons. One, because of our own economic issue, calamity going on. Why? Because we're forced to be little America. When we're forced to be little America, people don't really know that being little America means that we are one of the member states of 50. And what happens from state to state? Free travel, right? We can go anywhere within the U.S. and not have to worry. Am I right? Okay. So what does that entitle other quote-unquote Americans to do when it comes to Hawaii?
Come here.
Americans can move in and out with unfettered, unrestricted access, including up to the point where you could be eligible for Section 8 housing or for government assistance, government support. And you could end up getting it here. And you could be qualified for low-income housing here because Hawaii is a part of that larger system. If Hawaii was not a part of that larger system, the kind of houselessness changes. It doesn't go away. It changes. It then becomes focused on people who are here. But we're not forced to take on America's unwanted. We're not forced to deal with that. You couldn't come here. States can send their people here. America could not send their people here just because we're a Pacific Island climate. When it comes to high cost of living and affordable housing, for me, affordable housing, I don't know why people don't understand that in the system that we live in, there is no amount of affordable housing that will ever be made to ever satisfy our island people's needs. Because why? We will always compete with everyone else who lands here. If we were a closed circuit, then maybe affordable housing is for the people here. And my friend, Senator Brenton Awa, if people ask Senator Brenton Awa who is his favorite māhū, he'll tell you it's me.
He
got it wrong.
That one time,
Yeah. He got it twisted.
I love Brenton.
Got it twisted on the Senate floor.
Yeah.
I am his favorite Mahu. Let it be known. I'm going to sing it loud. I'm his favorite.
I remember that video. Yeah.
And so, when he tried to make it where only Hawaii people can buy, right? Why can't we do that? Because it is inconsistent with the larger framework of being a part of the U.S. You can't just do that. This is why people attack institutions of Hawaii. They attack institutionalized entitlements of Native Hawaiian Education Act, Native Hawaiian Healthcare Act, Kamehameha schools. It's because we're a part of a larger system that says equality. Now, is the United States about equality, like true kinds of equality? No, not by color, not by income, not by any of that. But it's what's espoused. So it's its own set of unique contradictions there. But that's why the basis for people attacking, like the legacy of Kamehameha schools, and they feel that everybody should be entitled to go get an education from over there. Well, what leaves us vulnerable is our political status. If we were not part of that politic, it is logical to say that, we're not going to be subject to that. But people are not willing to gamble. People are not willing to talk about how can you harness the realities of our history to address and reconcile what all of this means. Houselessness, affordable housing, Native Hawaiian entitlements. What else can we name? Development. You don't like outside development. We have to be able to control our own government. We can't. Immigration. Excuse me. The American president, legendary for saying he wants to close the borders. Well, how about close the borders here? Why cannot Hawaii consider closing the borders? Because we do not control our borders. Our borders are controlled by U.S. immigration's control and enforcement.
Yeah. Is it true that they send homeless to Hawaii on a one-way ticket? I've heard that rumor before. Do you think that's true?
I've heard it many times over. And if you ask people where they come from, many of the homeless or houseless are not from here. We have our fair share. But we have our fair share of people not of here.
Yeah.
How did they get here?
So, but I wonder who's sending them. Is it that they go to jail and then, because I don't know, they were doing something in New York or whatever, and they send them to Hawaii just because of our climate? It's hard to be homeless in cold places or houseless in cold places.
Well, I would like to ask the people in the U.S. Congress, how and why do other states get to send their houseless people here? However, asking that question to me is rather a foregone conclusion. The reason why is because we're the 50th state of the United States. If we were not a part of that network, then you can't do that.
So it's not like it's illegal. What they're doing is illegal.
Exactly. Yeah. And so therefore people, speaking very personally again, people don't understand why Kumu Hina doesn't yell and shout about certain things. Why I don't get agitated by certain things. A good example is Black Lives Matter. Hello. Look at our own people. Shade of brown is just a couple of shades lighter than the black that they're talking about. But when Black Lives Matter came to Hawaii, I wasn't just running to go jump and further inculcate and superimpose this phenomena over Hawaii, because I don't think that we have experienced it to the extent that people on the continental United States were experiencing. But by pulling it here, we just brought it right in. Just import the virus. And I'm not saying that issue is, it's the issue that's the virus. I'm not talking about the people. It's the issue. It's how we treat the issue. There are so many things. negative attitudes towards police. Who's the majority of the police force? At one time, it was majority Hawaiian people, right? That's one of the trades. It's one of the industries that Hawaiians went into. Police, fire department, right? Construction,
electrician,
first responders, electrician. So why am I going to be hating on the police? Well, every time you import people, whether it's for any one of those service branches, even in education, people just import. They don't, the people in power in wherever spaces and places that they are, don't really realize that importation of people from the continental US, people with no background, Hawaii, anything, how good can they truly be in terms of consistency and congruence with Hawaii people, our culture? I don't understand. Why do people not realize that there's so much more to be said for where you get your people from? But then again, that's another can of worms, because our own people are not seeing themselves in those positions of leadership and at whatever level they are. Right?
Yeah.
Why does the Hawaii State Department of Education go recruit from the continent? Why? Because our own people are not trying to strive for that. This is a problem that is two-sided.
Yeah. That's why we need people to stay here. You know, we talk about the brain drain, right?
Yes.
All our best talent leaves Hawaii because of more opportunity, or the other reason that they can't afford living here.
Do you realize, how old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay, 33. 33, 54. 21 years between us.
Blackjack.
Yep.
Bring the casino. Bring the casinos to Hawaii.
What if they have Pokemon cards at the casino?
We could help do that. Let's partner up. Let's talk to Kuyo.
Okay, imagine, what were you taught going to school? Because I'll tell you what I taught. I was taught. Tell me, what were you taught in going to school and getting a higher education? What does that higher education mean? Can you tell me?
I don't really remember. I mean, I had a different kind of upper, like, we weren't, I think that the stereotypical is like become a doctor, become, you know, a lawyer. Like those are like the big things that you aspire to be. But I don't know if we really thought like that at Navahi.
Thank goodness.
I think that a lot of them, they want us to stay within the Hawaiian program and become a teacher and stuff like that. Yeah.
Now, here's what Kumu Hina thinks. There's every possibility in the world. Yes, we need our fair share of doctors, lawyers, professionals of that nature. But we also need our people who will love on the land and the environment. We need our people to be fishermen, hunter, farmer. We need our people to do things that are of the land or land-oriented activities.
Yeah.
We need all that. We need people to teach our culture and language and history. My generation, we were taught, pay attention in school, get good grades so you can get accepted where?
In the continent.
On the continent, so that you'll be accepted on the continent.
Yeah.
What the messaging that was told subliminally to us was that we're never going to make it as basic common island folk. You have to step yourself up. Prove that you are same or better than the people on the continent. Whoever said that the continent was where we're supposed to aspire to? People don't know how, again, I've been saying this the whole time podcast, incongruence is baffling. How do we expect our people, our own next generations, to love on Hawaii, to want to come home, to want to contribute, to even value the richness of all the things that should be happening? We should have people at all levels, including the service levels of Hawaii. But no, we don't. Why? Because everybody else who still has that as their value, come in and take it. I love our Filipino community. This is no shade to them. This just speaks to how still they retain the element of who they are, because it's not beneath them to work in service industry. Hawaiians should be working in service industry too. Hawaiians should be in political leadership. Hawaiians should be in economic leadership. Hawaiians should also be in service industry. That's it. But no, our people are taught, get a better job, get a better. Why? What's wrong with the education here? Get a better education or get a white education?
Yeah, which is why they didn't want us to learn Hawaiian in school.
That's
because
why
they
they
said
didn't want
gonna
us to learn
be
Hawaiian.
dumber.
And you know what? Sorry, I know this is your podcast, but hell with that.
Yeah.
Screw that. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to repeat the same kind of crap that was forced upon my grandparents. I refuse. And again, I don't see why from my parents' generation to my generation, teaching you guys, you could have been my son, right? If I had a child of my own, you could have been it. So this tells me that we have to reconfigure, we have to recalibrate and reorient our own narratives. Stop. Did you ever wonder why University of Hawaii? Who plays for University of Hawaii?
Not
All
the
everybody
local
else's?
kids. I think this
All the sports?
I think this year I heard that the UH team doesn't have any local kids. Basketball, I think. For one of the
What's
first
wrong
times
with
ever,
this?
yeah.
Why do all of our island talent? I mean, yes, I know they're seeking opportunity, but why is it that all the island talent just goes, and our own island kids don't even represent our own island university? I find this highly illogical, and it's like, well, why?
Yeah. Well, I also think we don't have the resources and infrastructure to keep some of that talent. Like
But exactly.
they would have to, like, forego other bigger opportunities. And like, why would you play for University of Hawaii when you can play for Alabama, which is like the best school,
Well, but that's why the best. You know what? I've never understood this about athletics.
Yeah.
Where people will pick a football team because it's the best. To them, it's the best. I'm all about pro Hawaii. I don't have any other mainland. I do not acknowledge a foreign place. That mainland place that everybody else calls mainland, that's Native American land and belongs to the people. That's Great Turtle Island, and it's their Aina. I refuse. That's why Kumu Hina does not call Las Vegas the ninth island. Our ninth island is Nihoa. How and why would I disrespect our own culture, history, and language? And when we have our own ninth island, why would I want to go and give that honor to someplace else, to somebody's land? Forget it. To coddle our people who move there? No. Does that mean that I'm negative towards our own people that move there? No. Go. Enjoy. May you find success. But just know that your ninth island is back here. Just know that your homeland, your piko, your motherland is here. Then again, Hawaiians who don't care and don't give a rip about being Hawaiian, there are some out there that could care less. And rightfully so, because they didn't learn about what it means to be who we are.
Yeah.
So I understand. No shade. Let's be clear. I'm not trying to hate.
Yeah.
People criticize me about my attitude towards people on the continent. No. If you're still trying to be proud to be Hawaiian and all this kind of stuff, yeah, you can do that. But then you better have Hawaii as your piko and your mainland and your motherland. Hawaii as your mainland. Then you think about, what do you have to do? How do I know this? All the Pacific Islands, whenever the people go out, their homeland and all their life aspiration is all about coming back home.
Yeah.
Except our people. So, no matter where I go in this world, Hawaii will always be my piko and mainland.
Yeah, I love that. Mahalo for sharing that. It's such a good perspective to have. And it goes back to what you've been saying the whole podcast of like Hawaii is the center. It's I can't say the Chinese word. Tongyang, yeah. So
person of Middle Earth.
Yeah, I love it. All right, we got a couple more questions. But before we get into that, every episode we have a giveaway. And I asked my guests for a phrase or word that you can share for an extra 20 entries. We upped it to 20 entries now for the people who actually listen to the full episode. So if you can think of like a word or phrase to share.
Hawaii is my mainland.
Perfect. Hawaii is my mainland. Email Nicole at keepitaloha.com. Hawaii is my mainland for an extra 20 entries into this week's giveaway. So that's a great one. Repeat it in your head. All right. So next question comes from, and this is perfect since everything's flowing so nicely here. Sarah Saishi says, how do we keep culture alive without turning it into something performative?
Culture is alive when it becomes your mainstream culture. When you don't have to code switch and you make our reality everyone else's. I feel, again, I cannot fault our own fellow Hawaiians, especially the first generation of teachers that if a generation is between 8 and 12 years, the first generation of folks that became Hawaiian language, culture, history teachers, I would be at the very tail end of that first generation. And so, where was I going with this? Our people teaching our language, culture, and history became very insular. And so it was all about teaching Hawaiian language to our Hawaiian kids. But the effort wasn't about teaching Hawaiian language to all of our kids. How do we normalize our language and our culture to people beyond? Now, this will be an incendiary topic for me to touch upon. Am I saying that non-Hawaiians should have all the say? No, I'm not saying that. Or that they should have a say when it comes to certain things that have to do with our affairs. However, there's much to be said for the fact that we have some Hawaiians who are very, very knowledgeable, some not knowledgeable at all. Some Hawaiians who are great people and some Hawaiians who are awful kinds of people. But the same applies for the non-Hawaiians. We have some non-Hawaiians who are great and some who are hideous. Some non-Hawaiians who are very knowledgeable in Hawaiian things. Some and many not. So I apply yet again kulana and kuleana. Yes, your kulana, your place, your standing, your status in society, you might not be Kanaka. But if your kuleana has included the responsibility, duty, and obligation to uplift Hawaii, uplift culture, all that stuff, your place to me will be acknowledged and affirmed. You know, if I had my way, now I would make all the Chinese, all the Filipino, all the everybody else in public school, y'all learning minimum 2 years of Hawaiian language. Because the only way to really make our culture normal and not have the gaps of understanding. Like you go ask other ethnicities what their perception of our culture is and what's supposed to be quote unquote Hawaiian. You get all kind of answers that are anything but.
Yeah, pineapple pizza.
Yeah, forget it. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Is it mandatory at Kapaemahu to learn Aloha Hawaii?
It is now.
Oh, okay.
When I was in school, it was an elective.
Okay.
And let me go there with this particular point. Just because someone is ethnically Hawaiian does not mean that the representation that is their particular voice, it doesn't mean that what they'd be advocating for reflects integrity of language, culture, and history. You can't expect that from somebody who is not fluent or fluid in language, culture, and history of Kanaka. So, again, the qualifier for ethnicity, I think, is a discussion that really must be delved even further into. And this is not meant to disenfranchise, it's not meant to disavow nor disrespect ethnic Hawaiians who want to have a say. But what is the context and what is some of the guidelines and framework for the validity of everyone's say to have weight in how we proceed in the future? You know, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs is currently doing a quote-unquote nationwide search for the next CEO. Goodness knows, I hope that, because I'm not at that table right now, I hope that the person that is found is going to be it and all about it and have Hawaii as their center. Because if they're not, how could I respect that?
Yeah.
How? Just because it's all about managing money? Yeah, people who manage money and their bottom line is money, their bottom line is not the survival of a people and culture and language and history, then forget it. Your managing money is worthless. For what? Just give it all away to everybody else already. Just call it a wash.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry.
No, I love it.
It's my opinion.
Mahalo for sharing that. And then last question, still on this topic, Emily Reed says, for someone who wants to reconnect with their culture but feels intimidated, where should they start?
You should start with yourself, I believe. Start to learn, read as much as you can. Pick up a dictionary. Pick up historical text. Go online, read historical newspapers. Then again, that's for advanced people who know moʻolelo. You cannot. Can you understand culture? Yes, but there's a limitation to it. You'll never understand the finer nuances. You'll never understand the nitty-gritty. You'll never understand into the weeds about our culture. You'll never understand the true depth of what makes us Kanaka and how being Kanaka connects us to the Moana Nui. You'll never understand the fullness and the scope of it if you don't know enough about our language, culture, and history.
That's what I love about language, is that it opens up your mind to the rest of the culture.
Yes.
You know, you don't look at it like you did as a foreigner. You can look at it as, you know, from a different lens. And, you know, that's when I learned Spanish. I understood Spain more. When I learned Malagasy, I understood Madagascar more. And not only that you understand, you can connect with people. You can ask questions.
Yes.
And you can see how they think in their language, their home language, their ʻōlelo makua hine. So, yeah, that's awesome. All right, mahalo everybody for the social media fan questions. Make sure you leave some for the next guest, and maybe your question will make it on the podcast. All right, I ask all my guests the same question about keeping it aloha. It's the name of the podcast. It's the name of my book. It's something I try to do every single day of my life. So I want to know in your life, how do you keep it aloha? How does Kumu Hina keep it aloha?
I try to be kind as much as I can. I try to be gracious and offer people grace, even when they're either disrespecting me or being condescending and putting me down. I do my best. Do I succeed at it all the time? No. But having aloha means that I would still stand up for you and I would still fight on behalf of you, not in the context of you, the individual, but in the context of you as a we, the context of we.
Kako.
Kako.
Kawa.
The collective. Because Kanaka don't come from a democratic society. We don't come from an individualist society. We come from the collective. We come from a society where if I'm supposed to be a so-called leader, I have to be caring what happens even to the people that don't like me or that don't love me. So for me, keeping it aloha means that aloha is through the context of the Kanaka lens. I aloha you even though you have denounced me. I aloha you even though you have stood against me. I aloha you even though you have thrown knives and spears to, the back of my name. I aloha you even though you don't acknowledge me for the way I present myself, because you cannot and will not. And perhaps you're not mentally, emotionally, spiritually ready, willing, and able to afford me that kindness as well.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about me, it was about you. I do my best to keep it aloha. Even when people misgender me, you name it. You know, when you go out on the road, somebody cut you off. Does it make you angry? Yes. But don't escalate your own self. You know, people talking smack, they talk all kinds, or people doing all sorts of things. Just chill, relax, and stop. Even before you get mad, because it was a little nitty-gritty thing. Just relax.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep it aloha.
Yeah, I love it. It's easy to keep aloha when it's sunny and people calling you pretty, handsome. Oh, you're so talented. All the good things. It's not easy to keep aloha when they're saying mean things, they're cutting you off. And yeah, that's the truth. That's the true keep aloha challenge is, can you still be aloha in those situations?
Yes.
Where aloha isn't necessarily present.
Right.
I did have a question. Mahalo for that beautiful answer. I did have a question about some of our words that we use in Hawaii. You know, one being māhū, and just words that could be viewed as derogatory or maybe inappropriate, or maybe we use it in the wrong time. Like a lot of words we use here is māhū, haole, popolo, you know, words like that. Is it just based on the context? Are we able to use that in our everyday language? What's your opinion on it?
Let me refer to two particular all too often incendiary words, māhū and haole. Both words are adjectives. What are adjectives? It's a word that simply describes a noun. It reveals to you elements about that, whatever that is. Māhū, used in a pejorative manner, is a matter of personal choice. And it is that application of the term in the pejorative manner is based on that individual's understanding or lack thereof. Similarly, haole gets the same treatment. Māhū is not what people should use when they're trying to be either sarcastic or condescending to somebody. Like how local island men will say, "Hey, you māhū."
Or like how we used to use gay growing up. Ah, that's so gay.
Right. What do you mean? Excuse me. None of you are worthy. You know, for the people that use that, and you're just calling somebody māhū because you think that māhū means less than, you think that māhū means not up to whatever you're thinking and feeling it's supposed to be, and therefore you say, that māhū. What's the logic to that? You know, excuse me. No, not every māhū is fabulous, and not every māhū is doing something great. But there are so many skilled, talented, and just amazing people who happen to be māhū as well, that kind of derogatory attitude towards the usage of words like māhū and haole, that has to go. It's so totally small-minded to keep the context of this kind of words in such negative light. I think it's just deplorable.
Yeah. So if I'm using those words to describe somebody, like, okay, that my haole friend is coming to visit me. Yeah. Okay. My friend's coming, he's māhū. Perfectly fine.
That's correct application. He's māhū.
Okay.
If somebody asks, this is a good one. Hawaii Island, I was traveling with my filmmaking colleagues, Dean Hammer and Joe Wilson. We went up to Mauna Kea. We came back down. Now, we followed the acclimation guidance of going up, stopping at a certain level, and then stopping back down on the way back. And so we did that. But my body reacted still. By the time we were going to go home, we were at the airport, I passed out and fell to the ground.
Wow.
Firemen had to come get me. They took me to Hilo Hospital. The girl came and said, "Okay, ma'am. Okay, I just need to ask you a few questions. Okay, your age, this, your name, blah, blah, blah. Okay, when was your last menstrual cycle?" And I was like, Never.
I don't know
And
how
then
to break
she's
it
like,
to you, honey.
No, she's like, oh. And I said, oh, you don't quite understand. I'm māhū. We don't have those things. And she was like, oh. And I thought to myself, you mean I fooled you? You mean that you thought that I was biological woman? I thought everybody would just automatically assume and automatically know. Because you listen to my voice, there's nothing ladylike, feminine about my voice. You look at me, I look different. You know, I don't try to say I look better or worse. I just look different. She didn't know. She just, looked at me. She opened up the ambulance door, started to take down her notes, and asked me the question, oh, when was your last menstruation? We don't have those. Thanks.
Do you want people to know or not know?
I don't care.
Like if people don't know, is that like where you're like, oh, thank you? It's like when somebody says like, oh, I thought you were much younger than, I thought you were 21.
What people know and what they don't know. Again, I don't have to go announcing myself. I don't walk into a room and say, hi, I'm Hina, I'm trans, and my pronouns are.
Some people probably do that.
They do,
honest.
but
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Hi, aloha. My name is Hinaleimoana. I am the child of Georgette and Henry.
Yeah.
I'm the grandchild of Mona and John, Edith and Henry. And, where I come from is important. Whom I come from is important. I don't have to announce to you, am I sleeping with you? And that's why I have to disclose to you the nature. Because sleeping with you, meaning like you're hoping to either have children or having a certain kind of relations with me. Like, is that what the basis of who we are is all about? Is so rudimentary like this with no sophistication? Do we not allow people to learn about others for who they are, their intelligence, their emotional and mental alacrity and integrity? I think it's really just so like
Intrusive?
yeah. Well, it's not only intrusive, but it's so unnecessary. Why? Does my genitalia determine my skill set? Does my genitalia and my preference on who I wish, the kind of people that I wish to sleep with, does that determine whether I can make a good decision or not? Does that make me a better or worse leader? Does that make me more qualified or not to teach? There's a whole myriad of questions. Does your genitalia determine your value or your worth? Absolutely not. Not. I'm not about feeding a system that only plays further down that road. Like I said, being Kanaka identity, moʻolelo, Oʻahu, and Aina, your genealogy and your land. You can go anywhere in the Pacific and apply that knowledge. It'll take you far. And then when you seek acceptance and you seek your place under the sun in this lifetime, kulana, kuleana. Do you hold the role of what? Mother or father? Well, what is our root word in Hawaiian? Makua. The singular makua. Parent. Being a parent. What is a parent's job? The parent's job is to make sure that their child is provided for. Provided for what? Food, clothing, transmission of knowledge. Does having a particular genitalia determine that they're taught or not? Or that they're taught well or not? Or what they're taught? No. So
You ain't wrong.
yeah.
All right. Well, mahalo for sharing that. We're coming to the back end of the podcast. Got a couple more questions, but the last topic I want to just touch upon is just tourism.
Yes.
It's one of the biggest issues we have. Or, I mean, yes, you could look at it as an issue. It also is, is it our number one economic moneymaker? Is that still true? Like, is tourism like the number one thing for Hawaii?
Tourism is still one of the primary economic engines of these islands. And unless Hawaii is going to stop allowing people to come here in visitor form, then we will be susceptible to the whims and will of that industry.
Okay, so my question is, do we need tourism? Can we survive without tourism? And is tourism bad or good?
Let me start from that last question. Is tourism bad or good? I challenge that approach looking at something and challenge everyone to think about what is the good and what is the not so good, because good and bad are all relative. Good and bad to a Kanaka who understands Kanaka language, history, and culture will have a very different set of good and bad. Somebody who comes from away with no knowledge of Hawaiian anything, their good and bad is going to look and feel and sound very different. So, is tourism good or bad? It's both. Tourism is good because it provides us avenues where we can showcase and highlight our culture, where we can actually, hopefully, create spaces and places where we're still doing what our ancestors did. Mai, come and join us. Hele mai, come sit down and eat, right? That a luau show is about hospitality, welcoming somebody in, sitting them down, feeding them, entertaining them, then send them on their way. So tourism, is it good? Is it bad? It's both. I am absolutely clear to say in life that there is a duality to just about anything and everything that we can avail our thoughts to. Is a māhū person good or bad? Depends on the māhū, right? No different from any kane, any wahine.
Podcaster.
Any podcaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tourism, can we do without tourism? I think that Hawaii would struggle greatly.
At this point in 2026.
At this current point.
Yeah.
Because par for the course, when you have a system in place and then you take it away, but yet you've not compensated to offset what's going to be displaced,
Yeah.
how can we say it's good?
Yeah. I mean, it provides a lot of jobs for locals. I mean, I know how many bratas, I know work valet, restaurant service industry in Waikīkī, servers, tour guides, surf lessons.
Right.
Yeah. So, and it's one of those things where it's like, we don't need tourism, we don't need tourists, but in reality, we kind of do. And like, I don't want to be the guy that says that, but unless we have another option, right? Like, say, I guess maybe like, I know there was what's it called? A breakout room or whatever, a session on casinos in at the conference, right? Like, is that just another form of tourism? Is that like
Yes.
Is it, again, good or bad? Is it going to be helpful to the economy? Is it going to be worse to all the locals that probably have gambling problems, that go to Las Vegas, that, bring their bad habits there? Is it just going to be more accessible for people and it's going to ruin us? I don't know.
Again, think about Hawaii as the center of our world. Hawaii is our mainland. Right now, under the current political context, we don't have a running list of lands that have been bought and sold by corporations, especially in this case, the Native Americans. So Native Americans are treated differently on the continent. This is why they're very successful when it comes to their tribal lands having casinos on them, because their level of federal recognition affords them the opportunity to have that kind of industry, a casino, on their reservation, and they're a little closed circuit. In Hawaii, it wouldn't be that way. One of my friends, who's a former senator, he had said a long time ago to me, when talking about, what was it? casinos. He said, do you realize, Hina, how many Native American corporations own land in Hawaii or own something in Hawaii? And likewise, external folks in general. If there is an effort to legalize casinos and gambling here, even if you put a casino on Hawaiian homelands, once you make it legal here, everyone else, wherever they wanted to, can come in and build casino and all the things. So tell me, how is that a win? If opening that door gained the Hawaiians, for example, a casino on this land, but then 5, 8 other casinos sprung up. Are we getting the revenue? Or are we just competing with yet another introduced industry? So I'm not saying casinos are good or bad. I'm saying it's both. It's no different from anything else. Everything in life has pros and cons. People have to really get into the weeds about talking about the implications of certain pros and the implications of certain cons. Mm-hmm. And what exactly is our goal as a people, as a community, as an island society? What is our goal? Where are we going?
Mm-hmm. On that note, what is your goal for being an ambassador for, the Hawaiian Council? Like, what are you trying to accomplish?
I am trying, in my role of ambassador for Hawaiian Council, I have to represent and become it and all about it for things Hawaiian. So at the executive leadership table, serving currently Kuhio Lewis, here's another thing. People seem to think, they're under the misconception that there's this great push from Hawaiian Council, formerly known as Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement, that we're still on the trajectory of supporting federal recognition when under Kuhio Lewis, we've done everything but try to talk about political reality. With that said, where is I going with this question?
Mm-hmm. What do you hope to accomplish in your role as an ambassador?
What do I hope to accomplish? I hope to uplift people. I hope to make their hearts strong. I hope to reorient and recalibrate people's spirit to being rooted to Hawaii as our mainland, our piko, our homeland. Imagine how we could start to frame and address the issues and address solutions if our focus was piko-based here, not piko-based elsewhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I see the things you guys are doing and the things you guys are supporting. And I think it's great, I know there's a lot of support that comes from the Hawaiian Council for, just recently with the floods and concerts and, the Native Hawaiian Convention. So I appreciate the work that you guys are doing and the work that you're doing. This is the last question I have on the cultural topic. It's I haven't asked this question in a long time to any of my guests, but I don't know how I can not ask it to you. So, Kumu Hina, I just want to know your opinion, your mana'o, on what it is to be Hawaiian these days. What is a Hawaiian these days? I've had so many different answers on this. I gave my opinion on this podcast, on many other podcasts, but we need to hear from Kumu Hina.
Being Hawaiian means that I keep doing what I'm doing. Being Hawaiian means that even though the name Kumu Hina and the kulana of being Kumu Hina, the role, the position, the rank, status of Kumu Hina being that, whatever it's supposed to be for that, it comes with kuleana, it comes with duty, obligation, responsibility. It also comes with a certain level of jurisdiction and authority. And when I say that, I mean that the Hawaiian language speaking fluent, and culturally astute mindset of Kumu Hina, affords me a level of authority over certain kinds of discussions in certain places and spaces. So being Hawaiian means being of service to our aina and being of service to our people. It means advocating to our very best. It means that we have to honor and uphold and uplift that which continues to ground us, being Hawaiian. But you can only know about being Hawaiian unless you knew from our language, culture, and history, which I've been singing this whole time. What does that mean? Right? If you don't know, if you don't have a relationship with our land, if you don't care about our people, kind of Hawaiian would we be? We would be Hawaiians that just don't have that kind of heart and soul.
Mm-hmm. And
so
there probably are people like that, I think. So if you are Hawaiian by blood, but say you don't live those things, you don't have that mindset, are you just a lost Hawaiian, or?
You're ethnically Hawaiian. You're by your blood heritage, your birth heritage. But doesn't necessarily give you the tools, doesn't necessarily equip you to assess the world, analyze, process situations, think about the context of certain things, right? From a Hawaiian perspective.
Yeah.
You cannot.
That's interesting you bring that up, because you would never hear somebody who is Hawaiian say, oh, I'm just ethnically Hawaiian. They want to be Hawaiian, right? Like, I'm Kanak, I'm Hawaiian. But now that I think about it, I have a friend and other people who aren't Hawaiian who are like, oh yeah, I'm like ethnically Chinese, but I'm like not really Chinese, I'm like American, or like, my personality, I'm westernized,
Yes, same way. Same
But
thing.
you would never hear a Hawaiian say that.
Yeah, because Hawaiians feel some kind of way.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Something I'm going to think about. But mahalo for sharing that. All right. Before we get to the ending of the podcast, I want to know if you can share a life hack with us.
A life hack. What was my life hack? Well, I think didn't we chat about this? My life hack.
Oh, I don't
told
remember.
you? See, because what I thought about today was not necessarily what I thought about yesterday. A life hack, I'm going to have to say that let's just light it up with the Keep It Aloha podcast. And a life hack is to try to find aloha even in the places and spaces and amongst the people that would probably benefit the most. Have aloha. Keep it aloha. It's a life hack.
Keep It Aloha is a life hack. And
Keep
it's
It
a
Aloha
mindset.
is a life hack.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, because then you don't have to get angry. You don't have to get frustrated. You don't have to feel all this kind of way. Just understand that that's how life is.
That's the message we're trying to share with people.
Yeah.
I'll take it as an answer. All right. So I have so many more questions. We could talk for hours, but we got to wrap up. We got to get out of here. So when's the last time you opened some Pokemon packs?
I have never opened up a Pokemon.
Okay, so this is the first. So what we do on the podcast, we rip till we hit. So we keep opening packs until we get a hit, and whatever hit we get on the podcast, we give away to somebody at the end of the year. So somebody's gonna get a whole stack of.
What is
hits.
a hit?
It's like the better card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So here you can pick a pack.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to ask about your song, the Haʻaheo E Kuʻu Hawaiʻi. It's one of my favorite songs ever. I'm just saying, we don't gotta talk about it. I'm just saying that's one of the best songs ever written in Hawaii. By the way,
Thank you.
It's on par with Queen Liliʻuokalani ever wrote. So what we do is
Open it.
You make a puka at the top,
Yeah.
like this. So if you just go pull on these two sides like this, you can make a puka easy. Right there. Oh yeah, that works. Yeah. And then you take this back card out. You can open the back a little bit more. Oh, there, you got it already.
The back card.
Yeah. Take it out. and then we put the back card to the front. And we like to guess the color of the energy. Okay. So I'll say blue. Okay, it's red.
What kind of colors do I have?
There's all the colors.
Oh, all the colors. Yeah. Orange. And what? Pick up.
Okay, I guess there's not orange.
Pick from the top or pick from the bottom?
I'll just flip it up.
Like this?
Like how I did, like this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so darkness. Oh, I think you got something in the back.
Darkness.
All right, and then, so you put it to the camera and then you just take it out one by one. And then the good cards are in the back. So these are all common cards. And then you see how it gets shiny?
Uh-huh.
So I didn't get anything good.
Okay.
Yeah, so you keep going. There's some cute cards. A lot of people just collect cute cards, cool cards, expensive cards. The hobby's so cool.
Nothing's getting shiny yet.
Oh, there we go. That's a hit.
This is
you
shiny.
see how it looks different than the other ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more art on top of it. So yeah, we got a hit. Kumu Hina, first ever pack, you got a hit.
Yeah,
it's a small one. It's a small one, but
and so what? Then you just
leave it, and then we'll figure out the rest later.
Okay.
But I didn't ask you. What is one thing you wish people knew about you that they don't?
I really love just hibernating away in my māhū cave.
Well, what's in the Māhū cave? Are you watching TV? Are you
just chilling, watching TV?
Yeah, Netflix.
Lie down, yeah. Relax, put my feet up, and not have to go out into the world. Yeah.
That's how you recharge.
I recharge. Yeah, I love that. It's great. I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah. It's awesome. I mean, that's basically what I do. I say I get all my socializing out with work, and then I just go home and just I
go
hibernate.
Home and stay home. And of course, where you live, I'm sure that you could just go into the pool or could do
anything.
Something.
Yeah. I love it.
Exactly.
Well, mahalo so much for coming on the podcast, sharing your mana'o, spending time with us. I really, appreciate you and the work that you are doing, and I do see you as somebody who inspires a lot of people, whether they see you as māhū, whether they see you as whatever other pronouns you want to throw out there. I think you're an amazing human, and I appreciate you being here.
Mahalo.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share? If not, tell us where we can find you.
Mahalo nui a o ko kako launana. Mahalo nui ke hui ana o ka ua.
No kahawali.
You can come look for me. You might see me out in the community, out in the public. And again, you might want to support me in my endeavors that will culminate in the month of November, because I understand that there's opportunity for people to receive something in the mail and pull out and go tick. They might, if I'm in their favor, they might put a little tick next to my name so that I can consider continuing to serve the public and to serve our people.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. Put what you're talking about, what we don't want to talk about on the podcast, into this conversation. Yep. So I support whatever you are doing, whatever it is in November. I hope you win. Whatever it is.
Kumu Hina Wong for that which I'm aspiring to.
Which we aren't talking about on the podcast at all this year.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't have to bombard the people with politics, because some people don't like politics. It's no secret that I'm now running for the office, for a seat as a trustee for the place where I used to work. Working for Oʻahu was a great experience. But hey, but
also check out all the things you did outside of just work, like the Kapaemahu and the documentary. I mean, it's really insightful. So I hope you guys go watch it. The documentary's on YouTube. That's where I watched it. I don't know where
Did you watch the Healer Stones of Kapaemahu?
No, I haven't.
The 1 hour film?
I haven't watched that. Yeah.
My gosh, that's
it came out
I have
HIF,
to send
right?
it to you. The Healer Stones of Kapaemahu is a 1 hour.
But it's not like available online, right?
It is.
Where's it on?
It is. Look, you can just go there. Go to your engine, search.
I remember when it came out a couple years ago. I remember hearing about it. Was it in HIF?
Yes,
Yeah, because
it was.
I remember seeing it, but I didn't see it.
So this is where you're gonna go, and it looks like this.
Kapaemahu. Oh, it's kapaemahu.com.
Yeah, the healer stones of Kapaemahu.
Oh, okay.
But that's what you type in.
Okay, that's how easy it
Yeah,
is.
and then watch this.
Wait, is it free?
Yeah,
Oh, what the
it's
heck?
free.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I'm gonna send it to you now.
All right, if you guys want, that's where you get it. You can message us. We'll send you the link too. But
You can just Google my name.
just Google. Just do that then.
Yeah.
Well, mahalo Kumu Hina for coming on the
Mahalo.
Keep It Low podcast today. Spread love, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. We have new episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka, and remember to always keep it aloha.